to heat 2 of the Te Puni Kōkiri Senior Woolhandling. And yeah, just want to a shout out to Paddy Mason. You know, these shearers, they're putting in the hard yards here for the wool handling. This is all voluntary time. They're shearing, if I recall, Tuma, it's something like they'll do close to 1,000 sheep over the next 4 days for these wool handlers. They've got to be consistent and they've got to be sharp on their game, and they certainly are that. But here we go for the first, lining up for the first throw. This is where a lot of penalties can be lost. Turning, yeah. You can see that these fleeces are so well grown. Look at how they really just expand out. There's some overthrows, and a lot of that really is because they are so loose. They're so well grown. But lovely throw there, the two middle tables, Tyler and Azadee. Lovely throws, but you can certainly make up the quality on your way around.
Well, I think the throws on tables 1 and 4, I think they really blew it. They're good fleeces, Mavis. Just walking down the front here, this fleece on table 2 doesn't look like there's too much work in that fleece. Table number 3. Colour. Yeah, they look like they're quite heavy around the points.
Yes. Yep, well grown fleeces. A real credit to the farmers to hold these sheep as they have done through a pretty tough season. You know, we're just really starting to hopefully come out of drought, touch wood. So to hold these sheep in full wool that time, certainly very grateful to these farmers for putting in that effort and making sure that they're presented in such amazing condition here today.
There's actually been a little touch of rattle come through on some of these fleeces, Mavis, and you know, we've had a big battle with rattle this season. They've changed the recipe in the rattle and it does not scare.
That's right. Look, you can see these wool handlers getting under a bit of pressure here. There is a bit more work than it looks.
If I could just interrupt there, sorry Mavis, just interrupt so I can just get this going. Hey, we've got Ray on press 1, Jamie on press 2, pressers. We're going for a 160 bale or kg bale, Farmland sponsored, New Zealand Woolpack sponsored event all day for all the pressing. On your marks, get set, go. Back to you, Mavis. Thank you.
So, Tuma, down your end, we've got Maiden Ellis. Now, Maiden's, she's quite an experienced wool handler. She's travelled and represented the Cook Islands at the Worlds, hasn't she? She's doing a good job down there.
She's doing a wonderful job. She's a very, very good young competitor, this young lady. Her mother is an amazing mentor to her, and it really shows them with her work. I was just looking in her baskets and everything looks like it's bang on the mark with this young lady here on table number 1. Azerdi Paku, table number 2. She's had a good season, Mavis. Done really, really well with the second share shows. I haven't seen her doing many full wools, but she's a very accomplished and skilled wool handler. So these wool handlers, they've got they've got fleece number 2 on the table, last one coming off now. 1 minute 20 seconds is the seal time. So these wool handlers, you know, they really need to be on their game and they need to have a good pattern around the table to really be efficient with their time.
That's right, they do. And in fact, often that's where the 4 down comes. They can do a great job, but if they haven't planned their clean-up, where they're going to start and end, you know, it's pretty easy to lose the plot quickly. But we've got some nice work happening down this end as well with Tyler and Christine. They know what they're doing and they're being very efficient. If you look up on the big screen, you'll see the board points. So those points are penalties that they're losing right now as they work around the shearer. Oh, look at that. There's a really nice, probably cotty type fleece down here on stand number 4. Some big, loose, well-grown ones, but these girls are doing a fabulous job of putting these fleeces on the table. They are not easy.
They are definitely not easy. So 1 minute 20 seconds once the shearer pulls the cord. Maiden down here, table number 1, takes the neck off, starts moving around the table. I saw Azerdi Paku, the table number 2. She had a bit of a sweep up before she threw that last fleece, Mavis.
anything you can do to make it quicker at the end has got to be a bonus. And if that's going to help her get her finish done quicker, then all power to her. It's about innovative thinking when you're doing this job. You know, what can I do now to make it easier later? And it looks to me that that's probably going to work for her. There's not a lot left under that table. She's being very particular. But again, this is where you can lose time really quickly, isn't it, Tom?
Young maiden down here. Doesn't look like she has a lot of work to do underneath her table. Doesn't look like there's... Looks like it's all locks that she's sweeping up at the moment. So I don't think her time is going to be very, very far away from being taken. Zerdi Paku there, table number 2. Looks like she's nearly ready to put her hand up. These two ladies...
Up.
Holy smokes. Maiden Ella's finishing touches for her. Well done, Maiden. We have Tyler and Christine down there. They're probably pretty much the same. They're not too far away from being tidied up. Well done, Christine. Nuki, can we have the next heat up, mate, please?
Thank you.
Well done, ladies.
Heat 3, Rangi Royrock, Destiny Paikia, Nova Kumaroa Ellens, and Crystal Bird. Heat 4, following the next heat will be Alicia Thompson and Poyubi, Sunny Tafay, and Lucky Garrett. We've got 8 competitions, we've got 8 heats to get to, so we'll just keep going.
Awesome, Nuki, keeping us on the roll. But while these ladies are setting up, and don't think that that means you've got a lot of time, let's get going, competitors. Perhaps Gerald, you might want to take us through what's going on down there.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mavis. Yep, we're into the boxes getting loaded up now. Jamie's making his way down, Janie Funnel. So it's his first time at the Golden Shears, ladies and gentlemen. So a big welcome to you, Jamie. Love to see people come along and having a go. So does a lot of pressing in the shear, but here he is under a watch wire of these two great judges. So he'll have a few butterflies in his belly. Then we're over here on press number 1, Ray Tubman King. He is our novice winner from last year. Okay, we started up the novice last year, or more to the point, the Golden Shears committee did. And it was very successful, and this young fella managed to pull it out. So here he is, he's in amongst the big guns now. What is his dream? His dream is to be as good and to knock the Goodyear boys off the pitch. So it's a big ask. They say shoot for the stars and you may hit a power pole. And that's what he's aiming for. So I like that style, this young fella. He's aiming for the stars. Here he is, he's in the press. The bottom box right now, he's just tightening that up. Hard work, this pressing, it sucks the energy out of you. He's working away, he's thinking, I've got to get 160 kgs of wool in this baby. What happens after this is we stick the bale on here to find out how close they are. And you people who aren't really familiar with the shearing and wool handling industry, you'll think, how can you grab bundles of wool and work out 160 kgs? Well, they do this every day. Big job pressing in the wool shed. So the young fella Ray, he says, okay, that'll do. Lots of aspects that I'll cover of pressing. It's not all about a bale weight. There's a whole lot of other things going on as well. So we've got the tidiness. They've got to be tidy. They've got the technique, okay, of bending your knees before you take a huge big load of wool and stuff it into the press. All the health and safety issues of pressing. Here we go. We've got the big first wind up by Jamie. This is an art in itself, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, we can have the shearers to the board. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Gerald, we're just going to introduce these wool handlers and we'll bring it back to you. On table number 1, we have Rangi Roycroft from Piu Piu. Kia ora, Rangi. Table number 2, we have a young lady, Destiny Paikia. She won the novice shearing at the Pahia Tour Shears the other day. Very, very good wool handler, Mavis. And down here on table number 3, from the deep south, Matoda, young Nova Kumiro Ellis. And on table number 4, from just up the road in Ekitahuna, we have Crystal Bird. So Gerald, you wanted to let us know what's happening, and we'll come back here when they're about to throw the first fleece.
Yeah, thanks, Tuma. Yeah, so we've got the what we call the top box up here. Jamie has, he's just lining her up. We're going to get those ropes in the right place, and we need it to be a tidy workplace. So he's onto the broom. Oh yeah, the presses have a broom too. Don't worry about that, folks. And as I said, they're counterbalanced, so you've got to know where they are and how they all work. What else does a presser do in the shed? He does sheepo. Well, what's sheepo? That's when the shearer's pen's empty. He's got to jump up in between doing bales and fill that pen up. He has to look after the smoko. What's the smoko? That's the 4 breaks that they have during the day, the cups of tea and cookies, and then lunch, and then some more cups and tea and cookies to recharge the batteries. You don't want to go burning the lunch. In between times, they've got to bang this wool down and make these bales, make them nice and tidy, well presented for the farmer. Here we go.
Okay, Gerald, we got the first row. Oh, we got a beauty on table 1, lovely on 2. Mavis, how's it down there?
Yep, there's 4 lovely fleeces. Probably Nova just a little bit overhanging, but nothing that you're going to be too worried about. What a fabulous array of beautifully thrown fleeces, which means that they get a real clean run of being able to remove any faults that are around that fleece. And if you look again up the top, you will see some of that scoring coming through for those throws and where they are at the moment. What we have to remember is the lowest score is the best score. It's not the final. It then goes out the back to be judged by a set of outside judges, Tom.
Yes, you did right, Mavis. This Rangi Roycroft, she's taken the bit between her teeth and she's really giving it. She's showing all her skills at the moment. Shearers working around their way around the head. Woolhandlers can now get back to the table. Come on, Woolhandlers, get back to the table, because these shearers are putting some wonderful pressure on these Woolhandlers. This Nova here, look at the concentration on this young man's face. Roll up time for him as he runs back to the shearer. Look at the rhythm this guy has. He was getting ready to roll his fleece up as he got back to his shearer. That's some pretty good skills, Mavis.
That's right. So, Gerald, it looks like you're getting to a bit of a crunch point down there as well.
Yep, we're ticking away down here, all right. Young Ray's lining up. You would have saw the hard work here before. As I mentioned, we're trying to get a 160 kg bale, and you would have seen Jamie, the weight that it takes when he starts swinging off that one-man press, this big arm here, just about lifting his feet off the ground. It takes a lot of power. They have a huge, big muscles in their back to keep the strength to be able to whip that wool down and get her locked up in the bale. Nowadays, they get it a wee bit easier with all these no-tramp presses, okay? They don't have to tramp it, and there's scales and all sorts of things on it. But we want to keep them honest. We want them to earn the rights for the bragging rights of taking home titles in the pressing. And there's, it's a prestige event here at the Golden Shears.
Gerald, we might just come back very quickly to the wool handling. I hope people are watching not just the fabulous throws, but the style. One thing you got to say about Nova, not only does he throw a beautiful fleece, but by geez, he looks pretty cool doing it as well. It's really, it seems to just come natural to some people, and when you see it, it certainly hits you in the eye, but it does enable, look at the way he's able to get around that fleece. Same with young Crystal down here. She's not mucking around, but these shearers are keeping in great time, Tuma. They're certainly making sure that everything's even Stevens, aren't they?
Oh, you're definitely right. These wool handlers, there's a bit of pressure coming on with these wool handlers. Some of these wool handlers are really feeling it. They're not even getting back to get that last cheek. They're just that concentrated on trying to keep their fleece wool right, because you can lose so many points out the back. You can lose hundreds of points, Mavis.
You can. You've got to get it all right. This is about the complete game. Here we go for their last throw. Let's just see what happens here. Yeah, well, probably a little bit too much breakfast for Nova with that one, but again, it's an easy fleece to see around. Crystal down here had a lovely throw. What about up that end, Toma?
A lovely throw down here by Rangi. A little bit of overhang, anything the size of an A4 sheet of paper is 1 point. So there's probably 2.5 points lost just at the top of the table. But she's working away well, trying not to get those Brontosaurus pieces going on. Working away very, you can see her eyes just darting up and down the side of that fleece, just scoping for those first pieces. I was expecting that Nova to be rolled up by now, but I think it might be this Destiny. No, it's Rangi down here on table number 1. Rangi, you got any whānau here? They should be getting behind you. Here we go. She needs a bit of support. Make a bit of noise for Rangi. That Nova, broom in hand. Oh, we got Rangi. She's working away, cleaning up on her board, looking for her broom, Mavis. This Crystal Bird, I think she's a real one to look out for.
Well, they all look pretty smooth. They've had some good things happen in this. They've done some good things in this heat, and they've done some things that I know that they'll be thinking about how they do better. But this clean-up is really important. How organised are they? How much have they thought about it? How much have they been prepared? Crystal Bird down the end here, first to put her hand up. Well done. There's Nova.
Finishing touches here on tables 1 and 2. There's not a lot of time between these two wool handlers. 1 minute 20 seconds. There we go. Well done, Destiny. 1 minute 20 seconds is the sealed time. We're probably at about 1 minute. There we go. 1 minute 40. Gerald. Oh, sorry. Nuki.
Okay, once the judging is done, the next heat will go up. Aisha Thompson and Koyuki, Sunny Tukare and Lucky Garrett. Thank you. And heat 5, Louis Powai, Simone Campbell, Lucas Fulton, and Angeline Calhoun. If that could be ready after this heat, please.
Yeah, thanks very much, Nuki. Right, we've got...
Could we have the intermediate shearers report in, please? The intermediate shearers, if you would like to report in, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, so down here at the pressing this farmland sponsored event and the New Zealand wool packs, the first bale is out of the cage, as if to say. Here's a bit of a look round. Jamie Funnell from Martin Borough, first timer. He says, "You done, mate?" Finished. Time taken. Good man, good effort. We're going to put that on the scale soon. Nice and tidy workroom. All these other aspects has been watched here by Carl Cox, and he's having a good look. Very, very diligent judges, these two, Peter and Carl. So that will go on the scales. There's points to be sort of not lost in here. You can't gain points. It's about trying not to lose points. So we're aiming for that 160. If the bale is overweight, they lose points from 1 to 5 kgs over, and then 5 to 10, and then 10 and above. If it is too heavy, those points are a lot less because they've had to work a whole lot harder up and around the press to get all this wool into this bale. If it is a light bale, those kgs are docked quite heavily due to the fact that it's made it a whole lot quicker and a whole lot easier. So we'll come to those details later on. But this young fella that is aiming for the stars, here he is. He's given it heaps. He's going, oh, jolly. Years in the industry. He's a forestry worker in Huntley at the moment. But here he is. He's on the press. He's not thinking about doing any logs right here today. The pins are going to go through. You hit it a wee bit tight. Okay, you pull it down a wee bit far and a bit much porridge this morning. You can't get those pins through. But he's
have a green light, Gerald. Sorry, man. We're just going to start this heat. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go.
So let's just quickly introduce these wool handlers in the fourth heat of the Te Puni Kōkiri Senior Wool Handling. Tuma, down your end, you've got Aisha Thompson on stand number 1. The two middle stands. Got a couple of ladies here from Ōhai, Tēnā Korua from Ōhai, Sunny and Amber. And then down the end we have Lucky Garrett from Eke Tahuna who's been, actually, I've seen their names around quite a bit over the last little while. So another experienced team of wool handlers, pitching their stuff against themselves and each other. They would have watched the earlier heats. They would have seen how the fleeces are throwing. They would have been watching the shearer on the particular stand they're on. Just have a look. Does he face his sheep in towards the stand, or does he face it straight? All of those things come into consideration when you are wanting to put your best foot forward.
Yes, you did right, Mavis. Even the way they set up their baskets, this young Aisha Thompson, she's from Napier. She's got her basket set up a little wee bit different to a lot of these others. You'll see some with 3 at the top of their table. One of these baskets is a spare basket, isn't it, Mavis, in case they have a bit of rattle or a bit of stain or something?
There might be some black wool, there might have been some shed stain, but we also know that the team, Ken McPherson and the team that look after the sheep, do a bloomin' thorough job of trying to get evenness. Here we go, the first throws. Ah, lovely. Little bit of bunching at the bottom for stand 1. Little bits over, but actually not too bad. This would be quite a nice lot of throws to judge, Tuma. Bit of bunching down the end here, but at least it's all on the table.
Yes, you did right, Mavis. These wool handlers wasting no time getting about their work, skirting around one side. Some like to skirt the left side of the table, others the right. So it depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed, but realistically, they should be able to skirt both ways with both hands. You know, a lot of these women are very, very talented like that. They can skirt walking backwards, walking forwards, sideways. Gerald, how are you getting on down there? You must be nearly finished.
Yeah, we're getting close to an end run here. Ray Tooman and the King. She's hard work. Haven't pressed a bale from this time last year, but he's got the pins through. He's just doing a wee tidy up here and get this wool out of the way. He knows his points to be ducted there, and he's going to do the good part that you enjoy about being a presser. He's going to get those pins out of the way, let the wool loose, get this bale out, but he's making sure it's a good clean job. He's not leaving a stone unturned here. And they're underway. This is heat 1, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's a whole lot of people drifting on in, and you've got to get those pins out of there, young fella. I know you're strong. I know you got muscles on top of your muscles, but you're not that strong.
Gerald, can we just interrupt you for a minute as we get ready for the second throw? Here it goes. These guys will be trying very, very hard to land these fleeces. Beautiful at that top end, Tuma. A little bit of overhang down this end, but nothing I think that is going to throw them too far off the mark.
Yeah, lovely throw down here. Probably 1 point, maybe 2 lost on the side, but you can see that she was really trying to keep control of that fleece as she let it go. I was just watching her roll, Mavis. They are supposed to roll from bridge to the shoulder.
That's right. That's right.
And her roll looked exceptionally good. So this young lady here, Aisha Thompson, will be keeping an eye on her later on in the day. We got Amber Poihipi, table number 2. These fleeces, Mavis, they look really, really good.
They're well grown. They're good colour, and in fact, they'd be a good line of second pieces. First pieces. The first pieces are the bits up the side. They're good length, but they look also not bad colour. They look a bit dirty from here, but washed up. I would just about say they'd be pretty bloomin' good. On the board as well, you've got our 4 judges. These judges have been around for a little while, and it's great to see them coming back. All volunteers. We've got Bo down here, local lady. You've got Miles Oldershaw, another close enough to be local. Gail from over the other side, and Linda from up Taumaranui, and we have our Australian judge. Hope you're all making her feel real welcome on table number 1. But they've cleaned their tables, and now they're turning for their last fleece. This is their last chance to really nail it.
I think these wool handlers are getting walled up. Lucky we don't have another sheep. Oh, okay, here we go. Lovely throw again down here by Aisha. A little bit overhanging on table number 2, Mavis. I'm not sure about 3. Doesn't look too bad.
They've all been, either the sheep are getting too big or those tables are shrinking. Something's going on. But they've all got a bit of overhang, and that's something that I would assume they would like to work on if they go through, how they actually condense and really sort of keep those fleeces tighter as they throw.
So Aisha down here on table number 1, she skirted one side, she's done the neck, one side to go. This is Woolhandling on table number 2. She's done that roll time. 1 minute 20 seconds is not a lot of time. We got Lucky Garrett. Lucky Garrett has been really giving it heaps this season. Well, every season we've been saying how she suits the name, Lucky Garrett. She's a lucky girl. Well, it's not luck, is it, Mavis? It's skill.
No luck about it. And I've also noticed down here that she's had a couple of fleeces, and I'm assuming that there's VM in the back, seed and thistle possibly. So she's had to pull out another line, but she's working very hard. There she goes. Very efficient.
This Aisha Thompson here on table number 1, she's got 2 long brooms. I think that's very, very clever, having 2 long brooms. No need to reach all the way over, extend yourself. But looking down there, Lucky's finished. This young Amber is about to put her hand up. Her and Sunny are both on their knees. This young Aisha, not too far behind. There we go. Table 2 is done. Aisha Thompson from Napier, she's finished as well. So Sunny, yes, hand up Sunny. Nikki, back to you.
Okay, once the woman has been judged, could we have Louis Hawaii, Jamon Campbell, Lucas Thornton, and Anthony Calhoun. And heat 6 following that one will be Emma Mason, Tashara Anderson, Jimmy Samuels, and Samantha Baxter. Thank you.
Hive of activity as we prepare for the next heat. Just want to acknowledge as well all the volunteers. See all this wool that gets moved from the stage out to the back where the second lot of judges are. Nothing gets missed, nothing gets left to chance. They're all colour coded. There's instruction given for all of them. Very careful care taken. This means a lot.
Could we have Harawira Edwards, Peggy Kohoro, Emily Jones, Tony Darcy, and Atafai Hatfield to the intermediate shearing? Could you report in, please? If anybody knows those people, we have to have everybody checked in. So that's Atafai Hatfield, Tony Darcy, Emily Jones, Peggy Tohinaroa, Harawira Edwards. Thank you.
Wool handlers, if you do find rattle on your fleece, you are to pull it out, okay? Just be mindful, there could be a little bit of rattle in there, so just be mindful of that. There's a little bit of seed. Also with the electronic clickers, sometimes there's a little wee bit of a lag in it. Okay, we have the green light. There's also to be no skirting of first pieces or necks on the board. We've only just got our bins, so we'll give these wool handlers another 10 seconds.
So, Tom, I'm just being joined by Mr. President, Sam Saunders. He's roaming around keeping a fastidious eye on everybody. Now I'm scared.
Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Do you need me to come over there, Mother, or are you okay?
Oh, I think I got it sorted for now. Heat 5, Te Puni Kōkiri Senior Woolhandling. And we've had 5 amazing heats of these competitors. These are the people in the wool sheds who actually do the training. These are the bread and butter people. This is the engine room. They make sure that, our learners are getting or learning good habits, not bad habits. They're supporting the presser. Now they're just to always, they're the real deal for the wool handling fraternity. Our open, certainly there as well, but they're more in a leadership role. These ones here, this senior grade, yes, they're leaders, but they're also kind of the support team as well. And this is a pretty flash lineup we have here. Down the end, Tuma, we've got Angeline. So I'd done a lot of work with Angeline. She used to be the secretary for Golden Shears, did an amazing job through a very busy time and was able to hand over the reins in certainly good heart to Deb Keats, our current secretary, but Ange is never one to back off, and so here she is having a go. And then we've got Lucas Broughton. He's a real flash wool handler. Not only does he do the mahi, but he looks good doing it. He travels New Zealand up and down. He's a very well-known name. He's a very accomplished competitor. And Tuma, Tremont down there, where are you?
We've been working with Tremont and Lucas the last couple of days at a shed called Hamish Delator's. And what a wonderful vibe these wool handlers they bring to the shed. They, just good aura about them. Louis Pawai turns. We had a bit of an angry look. And I think it's why Harford went over the side. Lovely throw there on table number 3.
Might just jump in there, Tim, if that's okay, and just get this heat going. So we've got Ronnie Edahar on press 1 and Jeremy Goodger on press 2. Yes, you heard me. This is going to be a good one. So in that case, presses, are you ready? On your mark. Hold on. Break. Take a breath. So yeah, this will be quite exciting. So swing round your seats if you want.
This one here. Then we have last call. Harawira Edwards for the intermediate shearing. Peggy to Hingaroa. Edwin Jones. Tony Darcy. And Butterfly Hatfield. This is the last call. The intermediate shearing is on straight following this wool handling event. So please, that's your last call to be
Yeah, thanks, Snooky. Rightio, presses this time. Are you ready? Judges are ready. On your marks, get set, go. Rightio, we're underway here. Heat 2 of this prestigious event. By jolly it is. And they're all got different styles of how they're going to do it. He needs no introduction over here, so if you do want to watch, this is Jeremy Goodcher, one of your local guys, and of course, I don't know if it's of course, I wouldn't make it that blasé, but he's a 13 times winner here. Okay, so he knows how it rolls, he knows the pattern. His man beside him is Ronnie Edahar, and he is going for a big bundle of wool as well. So we'll go back over to the wool handling as these 2 big young strapping lads are both only the age of 21 according to my paperwork. Go to work.
Oh, down here on table number 1, Louis Pawai feeling a little bit of pressure. His wool handling, his shearers are a little bit too quick for him. I was thinking he would handle it nicely. He's been in the seniors about 20 years, but he actually a shearer, this guy. We got Tremont, nice throw down here on table number 2. Little bit of overhang. This Lucas Mavis, he looks like he's had the best throws.
Yep, he certainly landed it very squarely, and that's the difference when you can hold those fleeces, especially these big loose ones, when you can hold them together and allow them to be thrown on the table without spreading. And it is a lot about technique, and you can see, even though it looks like a smaller fleece, in fact, in other hands, it could have been a bit of an overflow job. So that was a great job by Lucas. Angeline's just had a couple of very loose ones, but she's done the best she can with them. And I guess the big thing is when you're at this stage and you do throw one that, you know, you kind of look at and go, damn it, it's don't panic. Don't panic. Just set yourself back, reset, don't worry about it, keep going. You do see some that throw a terrible fleece, they roll their eyes, throw their hands in the air, and they kind of all but give up. You don't see that attitude in this grade. So they're heading back to the third fleece, Toma.
They are heading back to the third fleece. Come on, Louis. I know you're chasing those triathlon points. You got the Vinny Goodger, you got the Jeremy Goodger, you got the Jimmy Samuels. Oh, I think Lucas made a bit of a hash of that one. Tremont, a little bit of overhang, but most of it's on the table. Let's see what Louis can do.
Yeah, these are not easy. They're not easy. And that's the difference. If you can handle the kind of tricky fleeces well, then, you know, that's where you go back to the wool shed. This is where you practice every day. You're always under pressure in the shed with, you know, the level of shearers we've got today. And it is about just ensuring that you don't panic, that you set up, that you're always looking to improve. And, you know, these guys will be a little bit disappointed, but then it seems like this is how it's going to be for most of them, Toma.
Yes, you did right, Mavis. Tremont, roll-up time for her. Lucas Broughton has a little look over. Roll-up time for him. Louis the Great here on table number one. So all these wool handlers are all about the same, and getting rid of their fleeces now comes down to who's got the best cleanup, who's got the best system, who's been watching the Joel Henarez in his full wool cleanup, because there's no better in the business. So Louis Pawai stacks his bins up here, get them out of the road, give him a bit more room to move around, bit of wool on his table. Down there on table number 3, looks like she might be the first to finish. Oh no, Lucas. I think this Tremont has got this all sewn up by the looks of it. There we go, time on table number 2, Louis Pawai. Underneath the table, working away. Louis had a heck of a good main shear. He's lost a lot of weight. He's feeling pretty good, and that's why he's back down here. He wants to win that triathlon again. Time for Lucas. So finishing touches down here. Table number 1.
Toma, if we just call everyone's attention as well to the penalty points up top, you can see the range, and it starts to give you a bit of a heads up as to how difficult these fleeces are. So, you know, you've got a range from 31 to 70. That's only half the story, though. These baskets with all of the wool then goes out the back to another whole set of judges. So it's only half the story.
Heat number 6. Once the ball has been taken away, Emma Mason, Lashara Anderson, Jimmy Samuels, Samantha Baxter. Following the heat, we'll have Summer Pritchard, Aroha Edmonds, Jasmine Titoki, Emily Papa, and heat 8. We have Cole Tua, Sarah Davies, Tamara Marshall, and Bianca Harwood. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Nuki. We'll come on down here. The pattern of these two presses, both of them are full-time presses in the shed. This is what they do day to day. This is their job. They've got an incredible pattern. They've got great physique. They need muscles to be a presser. You've got to be strong physically and strong mentally. Jeremy doing a bit of tidying up. He knows you've got to have it nice and tidy around those edges when it comes to trying to stick those big pins in later on to lock that wool down. We need it nice and tidy to get them through. Ronnie says, oh, he takes a breath. Goes across to the cap. It's got to be nice and flat. Squishes it down. He's a wee bit behind in time at the moment, but hey, that's okay when you're up against Jeremy Goodger here in Heat 2 of this Farmlands New Zealand Wool Pack sponsored event. So wool flying, it's going round and round and round, this wool. As soon as we get her packed up and we weigh these bales, and the 2 bales previous to this, we were going for that 160, and in heat 1 we come in with Jamie Funnell come in with a 152.5, so it's only 7 kgs. It's not a lot in a percentage, is it? What is that? About 3% out. And the young winner
Gerald,
of the novice
just
last
jump in
year.
there, mate. Sorry, we're going to start this heat. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, Gerald, I'll just introduce these wool handlers and we'll get back down to you in the pressing arena, the Farmlands pressing arena. Down here we're doing the Te Puni Kōkiri Senior Wool Handling Heats. And on table number 1, local girl, Emma Mason. Give her a hand, there's a few locals here, I know there is. Table number 2, we have Lashara Anderson. She is from Invercargill. Table number 3, Jimmy the Superfly Samuels. Master dart player, soon to be a master wool handler. And on table number 1 from Pongaroa, we have Samantha Baxter. So that's our lineup here. We'll come back down when they throw the fleece. Gerald, back to you with those big arms.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tuma. And I was just saying here, young Ray, this is from Heat 1, he pumped out a 157.5, ladies and gentlemen, when we're looking for 160. So a really good effort there. A lot of bounce and a lot of sponge in this wool. And you need to be working like Jeremy is here, down to the 1 click, 2 clicks actually. That's how tight that bale's got to be to get a 160. A lot of, fight back in this wool. It doesn't want to go in there nice and tight. You've got to tramp it hard. Once again, lots of points tied up around these bale weights. Top box is about to come off for Jeremy. Ronnie's saying, oh, I've got a little bit of a dog's breakfast. I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up round the place. Got the broom in hand. Come on, Mr. Broom, get over the right way, please. Looking for a mocker. Add a bit of fire in the blood. Kicks a bit of wool out of the way. Top box sitting and begging to be bashed on down. Talking about bashing things, here we go. Jeremy Goodger, pin number 1, locked and loaded. Let's go back to the wool handling for the throws.
Beautiful throw down this end from Samantha Baxter. She's certainly been active around the shows this year, and it's showing. Beautiful throw, and right to her, Jimmy Samuels. He's another one of these very cool shearers that he's not too cool to pick up a broom and to really show how it's done. I've often thought some of the best wool handlers are shearers because they have the wool next to them often. They know where it's coming from. It's just the how-to. And of course, Jimmy's probably been taking some advice from his niece, Shantaine, who certainly did really well yesterday. This family, pretty cool. They know their way around, Toma. Your end.
Well, I'm just watching this Emma Mason. Man, she is looking on point. Just having a look at her pieces, her neck wool. Doesn't look like there's any overskirting there at all. Lashara from Invercargill, table number 2, working her way around. She's a little bit shorter in the legs, so she's going to have to take faster steps. Jimmy Samuels, he has a bit of bounce to him, does Jimmy? And he reckons ever since he got his glasses, he can actually see what he's looking for. And whoa, Nick Whitted, he's making the final. So here we go. These second fleece about to hit the table. Some of these wool handlers, they still got a fleece there, Mavis. Are they going to get wooled up or we're in trouble?
There's a lot of work in this wool. I think we underestimate totally the work that's required here. Really neat to see the South Islanders coming up. It's a big trip up, and we certainly appreciate the efforts that they make to come, and they enrich the Golden Shears by being here. So kia ora to you, Lashara. Awesome. Nice throw, Jimmy. Probably got that front leg a bit caught up. Oh, look at that one from Lashara. Very nice. Great throw down this end as well from Samantha. She's probably had the pick of them so far.
How you getting on down there, Gerald?
Yeah, we're going well here, Tuma. Ronnie Edaha, he's got some wool in here. By jeebus, he's locked and loaded her all the way. He's got her down to the 1 click. with a few clicks to go and decided I might just take a breather here. Even with my physique, this is hard work, and come back and done a bit of branding. The branding itself, well, there's a lot of points tied up in there. You forget to brand a bale, that's 30 points. That's not ideal in this game, I can tell you that right now. But here he goes. He's working hard, ladies and gentlemen. The porridge he had this morning's really starting to fuel him. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, he's got a couple more clicks to go. It's time to start warming the stadium up. Go, Ronnie, I hear you. Come on, Ronnie. That's it, Ronnie. You can do it, mate. You can do it. 2 to go. He says, oh, had to come in with like a super sub. That little breather I had branding that bale just give me enough time. Meanwhile, over here, as we would expect, nothing less. A clean, well-shaped bale. Jeremy Goodyear, 13 times individual champion here. The Golden Shears sticks his hand in there, ladies and gentlemen. Your local boys on fire once again.
We got another fleece about to hit the tables here, Gerald. Jimmy's turns around, throws. A little bit of bunching, nothing too bad. Same down here on table number 2. A little bit of bunching up the top. Well thrown. Fleece that one on table number 2. Mavis looks fairly loose.
Yep. And again, I would expect in the Open to see a lot more technique and control around these fleeces. These are the seniors. These are the real bread and butter people in the sheds, and they're doing an amazing job. There's some big pieces coming off some of these, and I guess, you know, even though the wool looks of good colour here from where I'm standing, down there, right under the proper lights, these wool handlers are seeing something a little bit different. And we've got to remember that, the best light, you need the best light to actually really see. But here's the roll, a great roll. We've seen some sloppy rolls actually today, but those were some very good rolls. And if you look in the rule book, page 20 of your program, actually, if you're interested, gives a real good breakdown of the rules and how you can interpret the scores being put up there. So completely tidy, a roll that is compact and firm and placed, not thrown. There's penalties for everything.
Young Emma, yes, she's happy. Time looked really good too. Well done from Samantha Baxter down there on table number 4. Jimmy Samuels working away. Jimmy Samuels I think he's been second a few times in the triathlon, and he really wants that title as well. There we go. Well done to these 2 wool handlers. Nuki, our next heat, please.
Right, senior wool handling heat number 7. Once the wool has been judged and off the board, we have Summer Pritchard, Aroha Edmonds, Jasmine Tipoki, and Emily Tipapa. And heat number 8, which will be our final heat after the 6th one, Nicole Petunia, Sarah Davies, Tamara Marshall, and Bianca Harwell. We have 3 people that we meet for the intermediate shearing, if anybody knows where they are or anything. Wera Edwards, Peggy Tohonroa, and Emma Jones. We need you to check in to keep this rolling. I think we have to the end of this heat to be recorded in. Thanks so much for Wera Edwards, Peggy Tohonroa, and Emma Jones.
Oh, you're lovely and warm.
All right, thanks, Nuki. Well, these bales are tight. You'll notice here, ladies and gentlemen, as Ronnie makes his way back, you see where those pins went in there, see the ripped pack? Okay, that's okay, but that gives you some idea of how much pressure is on these pins. They've got 5 of them in there, and those packs are really tough, and it's let go. Over here, Jeremy locked them in for that very reason. He spun those pins round, locked them under this steel frame here to say if this bale goes, very similar to Ronnie's, we've got a backup. We've got a handbrake on the boys to hold them, lock them into place. Here we go, folks, all the way from Hastings, Ronnie Utaha. It's time. Give him a round of applause. What a super heat that was. Farmland sponsored, the New Zealand wool packs. We've got to put them on the scales now. The light's still red. I know everyone's waiting in anticipation, especially the other competitors that are watching how much wool these pressers are managing to get in these bales. Just a reminder, we're lining up a 160. This is Jeremy Gooch's bale. There is a semi-final on the likes, of course. 160 we're looking for. Jeremy had a whole lot of Weet-Bix this morning, didn't he? 175, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy is feeling mighty strong. That paperwork, when he said his age is 21, he's feeling like a 21-year-old.
Okay, Gerald, we have a green light down here in the Te Puni Kōkiri Senior Wool Handling Heats. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, we're on heat number 7. We're getting through these heats. I think there's one more heat left after this. On table number 1, we have Summer Pritchard. Her sister Samantha was in the heats previously on table number 4. From Rangiwahia, we have Aroha Edmonds, table number 2. Table number 3, we have Jasmine Tepuki from down the road in Martinborough. And on table number 4, we have Emily Te Kapa Mavis. Now, Emily, isn't she one of those ones that had a bit of wool left on her table, so she used her mouth to clean the table? Is that how it was?
Oh, that was a long time ago, Tom. Don't be mean. So here we have, yes, Emily. It's interesting, Ngaruwahia, so obviously that's where her whakapapa comes from, but she's more of a global child, I reckon, this one. She travels the world, she works all around the world, she's fun to be around, and she just gives everything 100%, so very cool to have you here. Emily, you're a blonde this year, I think you were a greenhead last year, or purple, but always a lot of fun. And yes, another very stellar lineup of wool handlers. And you did talk about Summer Pritchard down there, her and her sister, but they're a really cool family, the Pritchards. They've been really well represented in the shearing and wool handling throughout the last few years. So lovely to have her here. Here we go for the first throw, Tom.
Well, it looks like a wonderful throw here on table number 1. That's by young Summer. Aroha Edmonds, table number 2. I don't think she quite let that fleece release, Mavis. She didn't quite throw it properly.
Yeah, well, you know, when they're that big and bulky, you don't want them to end up on the front seats. So, you know, you do hold back a bit, and there is a risk to that. Probably the best throw in this lineup anyway has been Jasmine. You know, that's a bulky fleece too, but she's been able to hold it in, hold it together, and just give it enough of a flick out. Emily's got a little bit, or quite a bit actually. There'd be at least 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 on that one bit of overhang. So she'll be disappointed in that, but you know, she does this for fun rather than as a real profession. She is a shearer, and again, we love it when we see these shearers appreciating the work that gets done while they undertake their craft.
Yes, you're dead right. It's young Summer down here on table number 1. Back to her fleece she goes. In the previous heats, we've seen the shearers pretty much letting the sheep go, and the wool handlers are, you know, only just finishing skirting their fleeces. So you really need to up the tempo, up it a little bit. Let's keep up with these shearers. These shearers are doing a wonderful job of staying together. The speed has been exactly the same through the whole heats. And Aroha there on table number 2. Roll-up time for her, as is Summer. Oh, look at Aroha. Maybe a little bit more planning will need to go on. She went to put the fleece in and had to run all the way around the table. So that'll be something that she'll think about for her program when she sets up next time, Mavis. But fleece number 2 about to hit the tables. Here we go. Come on, Emily. A little bit of overhang here on table 1. Lovely throw, but a little bit of overhang.
Yep, that was a beautiful throw from Jasmine, and it's, even though it is a slightly smaller fleece, if you watch her, what she's able to do is really compact that fleece in when she's setting it up for pickup. The others are not quite getting the compactness of the front of that fleece, and therefore when they go to lift it, it's all falling out. And we all know what that feels like. It's not a very nice feeling when it starts to all come undone on you. But if you watch Jasmine as she prepares to throw her last fleece, you'll see how she's able to really compact it in. It's not an easy thing to do, but she's 2 out of 3 so far has probably been right on the button. But taking nothing away from the rest of them, it does come down to the quality of the work. It's not all just about your throw. It's about how organised, whether or not your pieces and your oddments, those processing faults are appropriate. I saw Emily take out a little bit more of a VM line down here, so obviously with these sheep with the full wool and the weather, they've been rubbing up against different foliage and bushes and stuff, and that's what's doing it. Great roll there on table 3 as well.
Very good. Thanks very much, Mavis. Hey, Masterton as a whole. We've got 2 Masterton boys up here. We've got Joe Gordon on number 1 press, and we've got Adam Gordon on number 2. They're against each other at the moment, but last year they made the final against the Goodges as the peers pressing. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of your young bloods of Masterton. Pressers, are you ready? Judges ready. On your marks, get set, go!
Okay, Gerald, we're going to come back here and let these wool handlers finish off. Mavis, that Jasmine, hasn't she had a great run?
Well, she's doing the work. She's preparing each part properly. When you're ahead of the game and you can do that, it's always going to pay off. Again, Emily got quite a big, bulky thing down here. Just wasn't quite able to control it. But again, don't panic. Just do, fall into place. Do the work. Get it all up the best you can.
I'm just watching Summer down here, Mavis. She pulled out a bit from in the middle of the back. So I'm not sure if she's seen a little bit of rattle in there. There is the odd sheep in here that has got a bit of rattle. They tried to actually manually pull it out by hand, but they couldn't get it all. That was the committee. So that's Sam and his committee. They're always thinking about everything. There was bits of rattle, so they're out there by hand trying to pull it off. But these seniors, they've got 1 minute and 20 seconds. Jasmine Te Puki there on table. Holy smokes, that woman is unreal.
That was a fabulous demonstration of competition wool handling, preparation, technique.
Summer down here on table number 1. She's nearly ready. Has the last look around. Hand up. Time taken for her. Well done. So Emily down there on table number 4, she's not too far away from picking the brim up, getting the brim in hand. Aroha here, table number 2. She'll have a look around shortly. There she goes, well done. Aroha, I know her partner will be in the pen screaming out for her. And down there we have Emily Te Kapa Gerald. She's just finishing off.
Oh, yep, well I think she's entered here later on as well, so she's going to do a little pressing too. But hey, look, what's happening right now? Well, Adam's just bounced his way up here. Adam Gordon, as these 2 brothers are doing battle. Joe on the front press here. Well, he was doing some shepherding, but now full-time in the wool sheds, doing some pressing, doing some shearing and the likes. So don't forget to make a heap of noise as Joe gets the knitting needles out and starts doing a bit of crochet. We're going to wind and intertwine this wool together so we can get a huge big bundle of wool, ladies and gentlemen. Take a breath, everyone. Do you see that? I don't know how many k's of wool there was in that, but a packet. So both of them have got a very similar system. You'll notice they're both doing the top box. At this stage, the bottom box hasn't got a pack in it. So all these different patterns and systems that they're doing. You would have noticed earlier, a lot of the presses went straight to the box and stuck the pack in. But here we go. No, these 2 brothers are ticking away. They're going to load this box right up and then obviously throw the pack in and start loading the next one. As I say, that's exactly what's going to happen. Pack and all. Take the lid with me. Throw that on there. The future of shearing's in good hands in the Wairarapa with these 2 young fellas. There's a bit of a tidy up, Adam, a bit of the house cleaning. He'll be a good man to find, and he's nice and tidy around the workroom. Gonna give that big fadger, but give it some ear time. That's what we want, get a bit of ear.
The winner of the final event, and he made the women, Nicole on 1, Sarah Davis on 2, Tamara Marshall on 3, and Bianca Howard on 4.
Joe Hopkirk, can you report to the microphone desk? Joe Hopkirk.
Also, the third and final call for Howard Edwards and yesterday Shearing and Peggy Woolhandling. It is your final call. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Nuki. I'll stay down here until we get the green light. Right, look at them. It's a little bit of synchronised pressing. Of course, same bloodline. You would expect nothing less. It's the top box, lock and loaded. You think, wow, hey, Gerald, do we need to be as intense as this and bits and pieces? It's the heats of the men's singles. Oh, yeah, there's to make this semi-final of this specialised event here. There's not a lot of them in New Zealand, these pressing events, and it means a lot, okay? And they bring their A game and they treat this as a semi-final right now, because if you do anything less, whoops, we're good to go. They're still setting up anyway. So if you do anything less, well, this will be your one and only go. So you've got to give it heaps. We've got the Gutches. We've got Ricky Stevens coming soon as well. So bring your A game. Adam dives up into the box.
Okay, Jill, we've got the green light. Can we please have our wool handlers set to go? Just a note, wool handlers, Emily Takapa in that last heat was still competing and your other wool handlers walked off. That is a offence where you can lose points. I'm just letting you know. When you got someone still competing, stay on the board, wait for them. We're all a team, and that's how we roll. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, back to you, Gerald.
Yeah, thanks, Tuma. Look at, not enough knitting that time. You see how we lost that wee bit of handful? You'd think, how can we knit this wool together? How can we take a little, what we call a staple of wool? Okay, something only half that. That's not a staple, it's two joined together. A staple of wool like that. How can we knit that together here and get a big, big bundle? Well, you're going to see it right now, ladies and gentlemen, as Joe's going to work. See the knitting, the winding, the entangling of it all. So then he can get down nice and low because it's a safety technique that he's been judged on here. See this to save his lower back. He's going for a big one, ladies and gentlemen, your local youngster. Woo-hoo-hoo. He can take time to do it because he's only going to do a couple of them and that box is going to be full. One big stride and he's up and into the box. Now Adam says, what you can do, I can do at least the same. Stuffs it in there. Hard work this. In a shearing shed belt now, you'd have the sheepo and you've got to head out the back and load the sheep up. Then it's all getting close to smoke. Oh, I better get the kettle on and the biscuits out. All these jobs they got to take care of. Make sure the hunt away dog's got enough water in the dish for the day because they're working hard too. As Joe starts doing a little bit of knitting again. Let's go back to the wool handling for the first throws.
Yeah, thank you, Gerald. Yes, starting to prepare this 8th heat of the senior. And again, another experienced crew. Sarah's turning quickly. Yeah, bit of overhang there.
We got a lovely throwdown here on table number 1. A little wee bit of overhang, but Mavis, the intensity on this young woman, Petuha's face from Parongaho. Man, she is looking fierce. Table number 2, we have Sarah Davis from down in the south. Down in Rerekaifatu.
Rerewhakaitu, that's Rotorua Top.
Table 3, Tamara Marshall. Waikaretu, that's the Welch country, isn't it? Sam and Emily Welch. And down here, local girl, Bianca Hawe.
Bianca had a lovely throw, actually. Number 1 and number 4 look like they got the bulk of it on the table. But again, we've been saying it all through the heats. These are not as easy as they look. They're big, bulky, well-grown And because they're well grown, they don't have those binders, which are kind of the half staples that hold the fleeces together easier. They don't have that, so they're very big and loose, which is does create a challenge.
Well, Mavis, because we haven't had a lot of rain as well, you know, it's the rain, the wets that makes the fleeces stick together more, like maybe a bit cotty. But because we haven't had a lot of rain, the fleece is more loose.
Yep, and they're good colour. You know, another indicator that it's been a blimmin' good season for them. Greater daylight hours, second throw on.
I just had one of the evergreens come up and say, I'm glad I'm not entering because she wouldn't want to be throwing these fleeces. Very, very well grown. Maybe we do need bigger tables, Mavis, because these seniors, they are struggling to keep it all on there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And again, you know, it's a little bit indicative of the grade as well. But, you know, they're doing a damn good job. And you don't always have a choice of what kind of table you have or what facilities you have. So it is about making the best of whatever the situation is. And they're certainly taking it to that next level. Bianca down here working really well. She's been a long time competitor, good local lady who not just competes but supports in a lot of other ways, as do many others. And I'm sure Porongaho's all eyes and ears on the internet, on the World Wide Web, yelling and supporting Nicole down there. Sarah Davis, she's a lovely wool handler. Had the pleasure to have done some work with her, and she's just solid. Tamara from Waikaretu. Again, you know, you get these people who have real strength in the shed. You can see that the Tamara, probably the harder it gets, the harder he gets, and that's always a great thing. A good partner to have in the wool shed under hard conditions. Setting up for that last fleece. This is where the secret stuff comes in. If you're not ready and you're not doing your work here, it's all going to be hard.
Whoa, Sarah Davies, a lovely throw there on table number 2. Let's see what Nicole can do on table 1. Pretty good throw, a little bit of overhang. So these wool handlers, 1 minute 20 seconds is seal time. This is the last heat of the Te Puni Kokore Senior Wool Handling Heats. This young lady, Nicole Petuha from Porongaho, round the top of the fleece she works. The neck is about to come out. I think there's a little bit of VM that she's pulling out now, Mavis. Now the neck wool, and she'll just keep working her way around the top of this fleece.
Yep, and that's the, you know, that's the strength of this grade of wool handlers. They just keep working it. Doesn't matter what it is, how hard it's getting. They just keep working it. All those oddments there are all different processing, have to have all different processing, what do you call it, outcomes to make it into a product. So all this is being driven by end products. What's this piece of wool going to be in the end? And the skill of these wool handlers is exceptional. It's world class. And we've had a great grade of senior wool handlers really show the skill and the dedication. But they're cleaning up now because it's not just about looking pretty with the wool. It's about making sure that your work area, everything, yeah. Well done, Bianca. Lovely clean up down here. That's put pressure on the rest.
Sarah Davis, whose time has taken. Young Nicole down here, just pulling out the longer butts out of the locks. Not going to be too far away now, and she'll be ready to put her hand up. Time for Tamara. Time down here for Nicole. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Please give those senior wool handlers a big hand. Te Puni Kokore are the sponsor. Back to you, Gerald. Thank you, Mavis.
Thank you, Tuma. Yeah, look, very hard to judge this, to sit back off the coal face, you know, that helicopter view, to say roughly how heavy these bales might be. I did have a feeling that Jeremy's was way lighter than that, and Adam has got a heap of wool in here. You will notice he had 2 feet off the ground with a bit of a swing on that arm to get those last 3 or 4 notches down. So time will tell when we stick her on the scales in a wee minute, but the top box is clear and gone and swung. The one-man press. The presses before this were 2 men. 1 man on each side, 2 little bars. They were Reed and Grays and Donald presses, and they would whack them down. It would be a race, clickety click, click, click. If one was too slow, the pack would get away off angle and it could ping off. So, but these were the next step up, and everyone thought, wow, we're down to a one-man press. This is ideal. And they're making good use of it. Nowadays, a wee bit different with these no tramps. But these youngsters are really going for it. Adam's on to the pins. The branding's getting done by Joe. Joe is used to doing pretty well. As they say, results builds confidence, and confidence builds results. Last year, Joe won the novice wool handling and the novice shearing here at the Golden Shears, ladies and gentlemen. He wants another ribbon on the wall, another trophy in the cabinet. But in his way is his brother. In his way is the Gutches. Lots of people to come here that want those sashes and ribbons as well. So the pins are going through. That in itself takes a whole lot of energy. Look at the sweat pouring off Adam here. He's putting on a big show in the hometown. Come on, Adam, let's go. Come on, Joe. Joe's going to lock it up. He said Jeremy Goodger does it. I'll do it. So he locks it up. He puts the handbrake on her and flicks them around under that frame there, ladies and gentlemen. You see what I mean there without getting in his way. He's a man working. I'm just going to talk about it. It's a whole lot easier. I'm not working any sweat up at all. But these youngsters are putting on a show for the hometown. Come on, Joe. Lining it up. You see him taking his time there. You get a bit of wool in the front of that little pin. It makes it very difficult to get it right through and out the other side. These little slots in this cap here where it has to go through, and hopefully, if you've got it nice and tidy, it'll go well. But a bit like shearing a sheep, if you take a lot of shortcuts on your first half, you've got a lot of work to do on the last half. See those slots there? You just saw them there as Adam pulled that off. If you're a wee bit sloppy and wool starts getting in there, you're going to have a big job. Not then. You'll have a big job now. Okay, it shows up now. You've got to have it all lined up.
We're going to roll on with the intermediate shearing elimination heats. Could the first heat come and settle down to the left of the announcer's desk. Ford Thompson, Sean Bushy, Braden Clifford, Toby Wickham, Nick Griffith, and Martin Ressimer. Pete Toon will follow that. Manahi Fox, James Dixon, Ben Forrester, Kelly Boys,
Yeah, thank you, Nuki. So the cap comes off.
Well, welcome if you've just joined us, day 2 of the 2020 Golden Shears. And I have with me here Toma Mullins. He and I have just finished commentating through the senior wool handling heats. Te Puni Kōkiri is the sponsor, so we want to mihi to you, Dave Samuels, and your fantastic team throughout the country for the tautoko or the support that you give for Golden Shears and for the wool handling, the wool sector in particular. Ngā mihi. But Toma, that was a pretty frantic group of competitors, wasn't it?
It felt like it kind of ranged from, wool handlers that, maybe
don't be kind, just say it.
Haven't done a lot lately, and the cream really rose to the top. We had a few wool handlers, they just couldn't keep up with the pace at all, and then we had others yeah, they just really shone through. We had, I think it was Lucas Broughton was one of them that kind of shone to me.
Jasmine?
Jasmine Tapuki, wow. She just really on her game, and I hope that it really comes through with the points out the back, because on the board, her points were amazing. So, yeah, but at the back, who knows what can happen out there.
That's right.
I mean, they reckon that there's a little bits of rattle and stuff in there. But with those good lights up in that stadium, they should be able to pick that up.
Yeah, so for those who aren't familiar, the rattle is the chalk that you will mark a sheep when it's on the farm. There might be something the matter with it. She might have some health issue, or she might have a baby somewhere, so the farmer wants to mark her. So he puts a aerosol rattle on it. Now, as we now understand that the ingredients within some of those aerosols have been changed, and that marker is now permanent. So that's required the wool handlers in the shearing sheds to actually remove it, because it won't scour.
Yeah, we've had a huge problem with it this year. In the past, that they've said it's scarable, so you can just take out the heavy colour, and now you've got to take the whole lot out. And when you've got shearers that are all shearing 100 run each, and you've got wool handlers 1-on-1, which means one shearer for every wool handler, it's a lot of work for these wool handlers, even just to skirt the fleeces properly. And when they're adding in these other little areas, it can get a little bit dodgy. I know in Danny Vercardi and Mullins is sometimes having to put another work unit on just to try and keep up with it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly an issue. And again, it goes to show the calibre of these senior wool handlers and the expectations of them in the industry, and how something as small as a bit of colour on the back can have a huge influence on the price of wool, which is already pretty limited anyway. But that was a great series, that senior wool handling heat. So now, Toma, the other thing I need to just say is, so those sheep were supplied by White Spurs, a local property, to keep those sheep in order, in such fabulous order through the summer we've had, is outstanding. And so we want to say to these farmers who are supplying sheep to Golden Shears, amazing job, thank you so much.
Yes, most definitely. It's been dry. We've had little bits of rain, and every time you have a touch of rain, you'll get the fly blow will come in. And so I'm not sure how many times these guys spent dipping their sheep. They might have had to dip them 3 or 4 times over the summer. So that's a lot of work. It's a big cost to them, and we appreciate it. It's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, okay. Well, Toma, we've started now on the intermediate shearing, and this is another big lineup. And these sheep have been supplied by Butte Farm, again, another local farmer. And so just to give you some context, an intermediate shearer is a shearer who has a shed tally of up to 305 sheep in an 8-hour day. So if you've done more than that, then you go into the next grade up. So that just gives you an indication of the hierarchy, if you like, of what's happening in the shearing. But this first heat is now on, and let's get back to the stadium and see how that all pans out. Join us again soon.
Kia ora.
Into the pen, sheep 2 on the board for him. Jonoshi. Young fella from Japan. It's great to see these competitors coming out to New Zealand this year. Sean's been to the Golden Shears probably many a time before, actually. He's Sean within New Zealand for quite a few years. And once again, we see him here at the Golden Shears. Sheep number 2 on the board for these competitors. Up the neck they go. Stands 4 and 5. Up and round the shoulders they go. Braden Clifford down the first leg he goes. Undermine time for him. Takes the top knots. Steps up, breaks the neck wool open. He'll take the cheek wool and work his way around the shoulder. Shonoshi. Undermine time for him. Takes the top knot and he'll step up and break the neck wool open. But it's still the boys on 4 and 5. Down the last side they go. Shearing blow for blow. Heat number 1, John. Good start though, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a good start, all right, for the first heat. You're talking about Shuan Oshi. He has been here a number of seasons, and I was down in Invercargill at the World Champs a few years ago, and he there competing for Japan as well. So he's been around a little while, and nowadays he's actually bringing a few offsiders with him, and we had a couple shearing here in the younger grades yesterday. So good to see that he's a good ambassador for the sport. He just loves getting up here on stage. He'll be in the pressing later on, no doubt. He's also competed in the triathlon before, so he's a multitasker as a young Shuan there on the front, on the 2 stand. There we go, Braden Clifford changes the hampies, wasn't quite happy with that cut. He says, maybe just glossing over a little bit of wool and need to keep it down and make these sheep look inky pinky. Every fibre of the of that natural lovely luster has got to come off the sheep. If they don't take it off on the board, they'll get hit out the back with the outside judges. Just a little bit about the scoring system up there. If you look on page number 20, I think it is, there is a quick overview of the judging system, but I'll give you a quick rundown now. We have the time points of the first column on the big board up there above the shearers. They are calculated at 3 points per minute. That's one every 20 seconds. The second column on the screen is the number of demerit points on the board. That's a second cut. A second cut is where you cut the wool staple twice to get it as close to the skin as possible. Anything the size of a credit card will be deemed a second cut. And of course the third column is the outside judging, the pen. That is where the demerit points for on an average number of strokes per sheep or second cuts per sheep will come forward. So you look at Mr. Clifford there, his previous score was a 2, and he had probably had 2 sheep judged. So that's a pretty good score. So, and of course the total will be the way they end up in the standings in this elimination round number 1. We will be taking semi-finals through this morning. So these intermediate shearers will be coming back to us, and we'll be having 18 of these shearers perform for us once again in the second round, Kerry.
Just look over here. Could we have heat number 2 assembled down to the left of the stage? Manahi Fox, 160. Dixon, Ben Forrester, Kelly Boys, Luke Dash and Tora Lambert, please. Those competitors, please be ready.
Thanks, Noggy. Fourth and final sheep on the board for these competitors. And as John just said, we are looking for our top 18 in this Trust House Intermediate Shearing Heat, ladies and gentlemen. First heat on the board. The question is, who is going to make that top 18? All these young shearers shear along well. Down and out the flank they go. Stands 4 and 5. Right there with each other. Who's going to be the first one to go for the time points? Will it be 4 or stand 4? There we go. Well done, Toby.
Thanks very much, Kiri. I might just butt in there if it's okay, buddy. Rightio, we'll get this heat underway here. We're still in the men's singles, this farmland sponsored event, and a New Zealand wool pack. So a big, big thank you to you guys for your long-serving sponsorship. On press 1, Zeb Nicolin. And on press 2, Conan Harmon. Presses ready. Judges ready. On your marks, get set, go. Over to you, Kerry.
Thanks, Gerald. Down and out the flank goes Braden Clifford. Finishing touches for him. Sean Oshie down and into the long blow he goes. Down and over the last side. The next one home. And the time points taken. Well done, Braden. Down the last side goes stands 2 and 6. Right there with each other. Down and out the flank. Right out to the tips of the toes in this first qualifying heat of the intermediate, ladies and gentlemen. And these two guys will look for their time clocks. And well done, Martin. And well done, Sean. Well done, Sean, guys. And heat number 2, John.
Rightio. Could we have heat up number 2 on the board, please? Manahi Fox, James Dixon, Ben Forrester, Kelly Boys, Luke Dash, and Tora Lambert. For those 6 competitors, please hop up. We need everybody to be ready, thanks. We just cannot wait for everybody to get their stuff. Heat number 3, can they please be ready? Richmond Ladanioni, Gabriel Winders, Matthew Thompson, Ford Alexandra, Jake Carruthers and Philip Price. If you 6 competitors can come down here to the left of the announcer's desk and be ready for the next heat.
Thank you, Anuki. So, yeah, down here until we get the green light. And please, we've got to keep the whole show running. So just interrupt John and Kerry when you're ready to go. So on one here, as I introduced him, Zeb Nicolin from Ropanga. Okay, he's 41 years of age, and this is his first time at the Golden Shears. So a couple first-timers here. So this 60-year anniversary really has inspired a whole lot of people to come and partake. There's been something... So it has really, rattled a few cages, if to say. He's actually a teacher. He's not a presser by occupation. He's a teacher over in Palmerston North. His favourite sport is basketball, probably one of the biggest growing sports around the place. And years of competing, I've mentioned that to 0. And his ambitions and goals is to write a book. That sort of rolls along with the school teacher, doesn't it? The word, very powerful things, words, especially the written one. Right, and beside us here, we've got Conan Harmon. Okay, Conan the Barbarian, as we call him. He's your local boy. He's got his correct age down here of 28 years of age. He's in the triathlon at the moment. Okay, that's where you're involved in the pressing, the wool handling and the shearing, so they are multi-talented sports people, okay? Conan muscles on his muscles as he goes to work with the crochet sticks. There, we've got the green light.
Excuse me, Gerald. Okay, ready, gentlemen, ladies. Timekeepers right, judges, competitors, go. Into the pen now on the heat number 2 of Trust House Intermediate Shear. On the front stand, we have Manahi Fox from Masterton. From Matara, James Dixon. From Leithfield, we have Ben Forrester. On stand number 4, Kelly Bowles from Makara. Luke Daesh from Ekatahuna on stand number 5, and down the far end we have Tora Lambert from Australia. An international field once again. It's good to see all our cousins from over in Aussie. And back before when Gerald was talking about that sack of wool down they call the wool bale, it was the Australians that invented the flap system for the bales and the clipping system. So we borrowed it from them. Here we go. Around the back of the head, down on the first stand. Down towards the first shoulder they go. There's Manahi Fox into the long blow, James Dixon. By crikey, they're pretty close together, these ones. We've got the Ben Forrester. Kelly Poles a little bit back off the pace, but round the back of the head into that most difficult part of the sheep. Down the far end, Luke Daesh. Sweeping blows across the back of the head. He'll get all that top knot wool off because that's been the wool that won't take the dye. So into the first off shoulder they come, but the Australians putting the pace on down the far end by the look of it, Kelly. And look at him come, Kerry, as he puts the big blows down. She puts the big blows down the last side, doing a marvellous job.
Okay, yep. Down and out the flank she goes, the young girl from Australia. It's down there on stand number 6, ladies and gentlemen. Heat number 2 of our Trust House Intermediate Shearing qualifying heat. We are looking for our top 18, John, and these young shearers, all of these want to be in that top 18, but afraid to say the nature of our competition, we will be losing some of these competitors as we go. But that is the nature, as I said. And so down the first leg goes these three shearers on 1, 2 and 3, pretty much sharing along with each other. Ben Forrester, off comes the belly for him. Down the first leg. And down the first leg goes the James Dixon as well. Into the undermine. Stands 2 and 3. Leading the way at the moment. Tora Lambert down there on 6. Right there with these two boys on 2 and 3. Manahi Fox, up the neck he goes. He's not only a whisker behind as well. Up and round the shoulders they go. Kelly Poles, sheep number 2 on the board for her.
We'll just make sure we got heat number 3 ready. So Richard Narangioni, Gabriel Winders, Matthew Thompson, Ford Alexander, Jake Carruthers and Philip Price. How are they going down there in the pressing, Gerald?
Yeah, we're going well down here. Just we weighed those bales earlier, the 2 local boys, the heat just before this. So just letting you know what they are. So we've got Joe Gordon. We're looking for the 160 kgs, remember. And he come in with a 157.5, Masterton. And Adam Gordon, well, he had a heap of porridge. And he came in with a 1690. So very hard to judge this wool at this stage. Time will tell. Once again, you lose more points for being a lighter bale than if you are overweight due to it took more effort and work to produce a lighter bale. So that's how it all rolls. And the other point system, of course, is we've got all the safety aspects and technique. Okay, I discussed earlier when young Joe was grabbing huge big handfuls of wool that you had to make sure that you lifted them correctly. A bit like Precious McKenzie, the weightlifter, you know, to bend those legs and keep your back straight and all those sorts of things. So you'll have longevity in the industry. It's a big push right throughout any work area really is safety and well-being. Well-being at the moment, well, Conan is on fire. He's had a couple of coffees before he walked in here. I went over and said, just to remind him, it's 160 kgs, Conan. He says, I'm ready to go, Spainy, not a problem. And here he is. Top box is just sitting there empty now. And he's going to wind it up and get it out of the way. Our first time, Zeb is thinking, oh, yeah. This is hard yakka. He likes basketball and he's got his basketball shoes on.
Excuse me, Gerald.
Okay, there's no...
Could we have heat number 3 ready, please? Come on, guys and girls. We need to run the show. We've already dropped 1 shearer this morning. You don't want to miss out. Get down here to the bottom of the stairs and we'll wait for your next heat. I have just called your names previous. So get on with the game here, guys and girls, and we'll keep the show ticking along. Thank you, Gerald.
So heat number 2 we are, ladies and gentlemen, this Trust House Intermediate Shearing qualifying heat. We are looking for our top 18. This is heat number 2. And down and out the flank goes Ben Forrester, leading the way at the moment. Tora Lambert down there on 6, right there with Ben, just a couple blows behind. Under the final shoulder and down and out the flank goes James Dixon. Manahi Fox, down and out the flank he goes, making a very good job too. Very, very good board points and good pin points in this qualifying heat. Of course, there's still 1 more sheep in the pen for him. Ben Forrester, 4th and final sheep on the board for him. Tora Lambert, 4th and final sheep on the board for her as well. Breaking the belly will open. Down the first leg goes Ben Forrester, leading the way at the moment. 1, 2, undermine time for the boy from the Rangiora. Takes the top knot and he'll step up and break the neck will open. James Dixon. Sheep 4 on the board for him. Off comes the belly. Down the first leg he goes. Down and out the flank. Down and out the flank goes Luke Dayish. Into the pen for his 4th and final sheep. Down and out the flank goes Kelly Poles. Once again, it's great to see your female competitors in our mix going toe-to-toe with the guys. Forrester in for the long blow. He goes. Dixon works his way around the shoulder, drops on down into the long blow. Manahi Fox up and around the shoulders. He doing once again making a very, very good job of that sheep, John. He's good little shearers on the board at the moment, isn't there?
Well, it's not all about size and strength. It's about skill when it comes round to get them out quick. We've had some big shearers and all they do is get muscle bound and tight. And the sheep senses that with a little shearer. They'll just let the sheep float along and just roll it into position. They know they haven't got the strength to fight it, so they've got to do it with the brain. And then a good shear there from Ben Forrester as he stops the clock in 8 minutes and just over. Close on his heels, though, they're not giving him much room, as James Dixon and Manahi Fox down the far end, Tora Lambert and Kelly Poles. The last two come around the back of the head and into the first off shoulder now. Long blow time now for Luke Dyesh. As he turns for home, the money side of the sheep. There's a good shear. Oh, look up that board there above. There's some good scores this morning that shows that these sheep from Butte Farms are performing well here on stage. The cut is nice and clean. There's enough grease in it to make the comb float across the skin and remove that woolly fibre that we treasure so much in this sheep industry. Just a pity we're not getting paid a decent dollar for it. As somebody said yesterday, one day they'll wake up and say, we have this beautiful natural fibre, why can't we get some more for it? Under the shoulder and down now to the flank, the last of our competitors in heat at number 2, doing pretty well. Kelly Poles, good quality, and she's not suffering any nerves up there. She just had a little bit of a ticklish sheep, the first one, got it sorted, well shorn, off the board, shearers on with heat number 3. Straight up, please, shearers, Rangione, Winders, Thompson, Ford, Carruthers and Price. How are those presses going down there, Gerald?
Yeah, we're going well. Conan the Barbarian is just wrapped up. He made a good tidy job. He tidied his corners up and stuffed it all in bits and pieces. Of course, not shy of the bright lights of the Golden Shears. He's made the 2 times doubles champion he's been. So he's used to hitting the bright lights and he goes well. And he's in the triathlon and a super sportsman. Right here we've got Zeb Nicolin still working away on press 1. Hey, we're not worried about that, buddy. We are absolutely rapt that all of you first-timers have come along to see what happens under the bright lights in the red carpet of the Golden Shears. He has done a good job, ladies and gentlemen. He likes basketball and he's going for a 3-pointer, I reckon. Says, hey, young hook, you're not supposed to be down there in the ground. He hauls that baby out. I don't know about you folks, but it's been an absolute pleasure. You have pressed really well. For a school teacher from Palmerston North, ladies and gentlemen, this will be very interesting when he whacks this up. He's got to get that bale to stand on its own, and he says, we are getting close to being done. He's having a last wee gauge around. Please, a good warm congratulations from Masterton, please, for Zeb Nicolin. Well done, young fella.
Righto, we have the Tipini Kokuri Senior Woolhandling semi-finalists. Jasmine Tipoki, Destiny Paikia, Azu Paku, Jimmy Samuels, Muruai Paul, Lazara Anderson, Crystal Bird, Tyler Hira, Bianca Hawea, Vinnie Goodyear, Taman Campbell, and Amber Poihipi. They are the 12 semi-finalists. We have a green light. Shearers to the board. Timekeepers right. Judges. Not go. No go. What's happened?
Right, we've just got the referee busy up there. So, hey, once again, we're going for a 160 kg bale. Conan Harmon from Masterton, your local boy in the heats, single men's, 160.5, ladies and gentlemen. That is the closest we've had by miles. That is sensational. Well done, Conan. Let's bang this other bale up while we've got the go-ahead now, John.
Yeah, we're all good to go. Okay. Timekeepers are good. Judges, competitors, go. So into the pen now for heat number 3 in Trust House. Intermediate, Richmond Narangioni here on the front stand from Gisborne. Gabriel Winders from down in the deep south, Oamaru. Matthew Thompson from Ward on stand number 3. That's in Marlborough. We have Ford Alexander from Tamaranui on stand number 4. Jake Carruthers from Dannyverk on stand number 5. And another international shearer, the Welshman Philip Price on the 6th stand. Hey, they've seen the time that's gone before. They know the total points that they've got to get under. There'll be a minimum that they will be eyeing up on the board there. That probably looking at the around about the early 30s to try and get the quality and be in the chance in that last 18. And I just happened to see one young shearer in the last heat look back at his points up there as they were being added up on the screen above the shearer. And I thought, oh, that's the first time I've ever seen that. I always thought you were far too busy on the board to be worrying about what the tally was at the end. And he still had one sheep to shear. Maybe he thought he could have roughed it up a little bit or something if he had low points and save a bit of time. Don't know what his theory was, but here we go. All pretty close together this time round. Turning on to the last side, most of them. A little bit of pace here on the middle, down on stand number 4. We've got Ford Alexander says, I just feel relaxed and I'm going to lay under these good sheep from the Butte Farm. Shearing very well here in the dry conditions in the Wairarapa. A little bit of rain yesterday. By golly, you're going to have a lot more rain to make the grass grow. I did see something ridiculous yesterday. A fellow was out mowing the lawns and he didn't even have a catcher on and there was nothing to mow. I think he was just filling in time, wanted to be around the stadium. It was just dead dry and no grass at all.
This was here.
But here these fellows are mowing. They're mowing it off. Oh, you got to keep her above the skin. Just lighten the hand up a little bit. They are very good combing, these sheep. As we saw some great exhibition shearing in the younger grades yesterday, Gary, absolutely marvellous quality coming through on the score sheets.
Rightio, just a heads up to Heat 4. Kevin Sutherland, Corey Barracliff, Jean Mitchell, Torpia Barracliff, Joseph Gordon and Brodie Harrell. You are the next heat, so you guys come down, be ready please. Rightio, where are we ladies and gentlemen? Sheep number 2 on the board of this Trust House Intermediate Shearing. Ladies and gentlemen, heat number 3 we are. Undermine time there for Richmond. Undermine time for Gabriel.
Okay.
Undermine time for Matthew Thompson as well. Down the first egg he goes. Undermine time and he'll take the top knot, step up, break the neck wall open. Down and into the long blow goes young Ford Alexander down there on 4. Oh, bit of a niggle. Under control again, the young fella. Up and round the shoulders goes stands 1, 2 and 3. Down there on stand 5. Philip Bryce. Under the final shoulder and down and out. Down and out the flank he goes. Shearing along pretty well too, the Welshman down there on 6. Up and round the shoulders goes the boys on the first 3 stands. Ford Alexander, down and out the flank he goes. Finishing touches for him. He'll be the second one into the pen for sheep number 3. Change of handpiece there. I think he was maybe wanting to try out a new comb. But he didn't look like it was going all right. But I dare say he probably just wants to try a second comb, John, and just see how that runs for him.
Well, it's a little bit of a unknown unless you prepare 2 combs. You're just second guessing yourself to how the sheep are actually going to comb. So maybe he's thinking I'm going to shearing well enough and I'm going to make the next round. So he's just going to try his luck with his second handpiece to make it sure it's going to go for him. I'm just looking round the hall and we see a heap of sponsors. Some we've been talking about when they've been the major sponsors of our event. But by crikey, there are just a heap of them around the hall, all the signs. Just make sure you support those sponsors throughout the next 12 months so it's easier for our committee members to go along and approach them and to extract some funds out of them to keep this marvellous competition going. So just make sure you keep that in mind in the next sort of 12 months. Say you saw them sponsoring the Golden Shears, and you might even get a discount type of thing. So don't take my word for it, but anyway, it's worth a crack. But here we are back to the shearing live now. Gabrielle Winders around the back of the head on the 2 stand. Richmond Narangione from across on the far coast, all the way up in the Gisborne. He's powering up the neck and around the back of the head. Matthew Thompson from across the water in that other land.
Might just jump in there, John, if I can, just for a wee sec, just so we can keep things going. Thank you very much, John. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, on press 1 we have Linton Palmer, all the way from Dipton, down on the deep south. Okay, and on press 2 we have Ricky Stevens from Napier. We'll tell you more about them when they're underway, but we'll get it kicked into gear. Judges are ready. Presses, on your marks, get set, go! Thanks, John.
So, yeah, these shearers just trying their best out. The 4th sheep coming out now for Ford Alexander, the lad from Tamaranui. So Jake Carruthers from Dunnyburg just walks in behind him. Pretty casual approach to the job. But I assure you, they are keeping that comb, that 13-tooth comb, glued to the skin, Kerry, just to remove every fibre of that wool.
Yeah, that's right, John. It's heat number 3, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, we are looking for our top 18. Trust House is our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we thank them very much for their loyal support of the Golden Shears 2020. Down the first leg goes Gabriel Winters on 2. Undermine time for him. Sheep number 3, done and dusted there for Matthew Thompson. Into the pen he goes. Sheep 4 coming out onto the board. Young man on stand 1, Richmond. Into the pen he goes. 4th and final sheep on the board for him. Up and round the shoulders goes Gabriel Winters. The boy from the South Island, Oamaru he is. Up and round and down and into the long blow he goes. But it's going to be the Welshman down on 6, Philip Price. Down and out the flank he goes, and here we go. Well done, my man. And he'll push the time clock. Well, Sean. And down the first leg goes Matthew Thompson. Into the undermine. Ford Alexander. He looks like he may be the next one home. Down and out the flank he goes. Shearing along pretty well, these intermediate shearers. And there we go. Time clock taken. Up and round the shoulders goes Matthew Thompson, but it's Winders. 4th sheep on the board for him. Down and out the flank he goes. Finishing touches, and he'll be looking for the time clock as well. This 3rd qualifying heat of the intermediate.
I'm not actually.
Well done, Gabriel. Well, Sean, my man. And Jake Cutters there, takes his time as well. Down and into the long blow goes stands 1 and 3.
Just saying, before we talked about the scoring up there, Kerry, the lowest score is what we need. In the old days, going back 20 plus years ago, we used to have, you started at 100 and they deducted points, but then they come up with a scheme where you start at 0 and add on. So we need the lowest number of points to get through to the next round. So just a couple of blows left in these two competitors, and then we'll be going to rushing on with number 4, heat number 4 that is. So make sure you're ready to go, because we're just a little bit behind the 8 ball with our time frame today, and we need to keep the organisers happy and keep you, the public, well informed and up to date.
So we have heat 4 intermediate shearing, Kevin Sutherland, Corey Barracliff, Jean-Michael Hope, Torpia Barracliff, Joseph Gordon and Brody Hurrell. Heat number 5, if they could please be ready and assemble down to the announcer's desk. James Broyan, Lizzie Thompson, Alan Lawyer Evans, Cullen Pritchard, Madsidi Monday and Liam Pritchard, please.
Thanks very much, Snooky. Hey, look, we're back down here in the pressing arena. Once again, the sponsor being Farmlands and Woolpacks New Zealand. Long-serving sponsors here. Hey, look, I've got Monica Potai with me, and she's going to do some co-commentary. So, Monica, look, this young fella here, been in the triathlon a number of years, and comes all the way from Dipton, so he doesn't come up here for a can of tui, I don't think. I think he's the real deal, and he's a big, strong, strapping lad. So, big welcome to the commentary team, and I know you've got a big day tomorrow as a top open wall handler, but here we are. Let's give the audience a bit of an understanding how many muscles this guy's got as he starts loading up, Monica.
Okay, Lyndon Palmer, all the way from Dipton. Yeah, he's got the big arm loads. He's just dropped his safety for his fadge. But on the other side, we've got Ricky Stevens. He's on to about his 3rd arm load on his box. They've both got their wind-up boxes full. And you can see that they want to get the wool into the box without making a mess of it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Well done. That's a fantastic start. Once you get that out of your way, you're just flying. Good work. Pleased to have you here. Yeah, Linton Palmer. Talking about work, look at these legs. What do we got about him? I told you he's from Dipton. Well, he's aged 32. He's been in the industry about 13 years. His other occupations, of course, farming, and a big frame like that is rugby and some cricket and ambitions and goals. He's just not sure. He's shooting for the stars as well, ladies and gentlemen. He hauls another big pile in there. He is a great competitor, great sportsman. And
thank you, Gerald. Here we go. We're all to go. Timekeepers are good. Judges, competitors, go. So into the pen this time around. More international shearers. Kevin Sutherland from Scotland on the front stand. From Pio Pio, we have Corey Barracliff on 2. Jean-Michel Popek from Canada on stand number 3. On 4, we have Torpia Barracliff from Puyo Pool. Joseph Gordon from Masterton on stand number 5, one of the local lads. And we have Brody Horrell from Gore down on the far end.
I don't know.
You just had a quick look in the book, and I don't know whether you go through looking at the honours board. There's heaps of names there from the last 60 years. But one springs to mind is Brody Horrell, because he won the junior competition last year. And he just adds a little bit more tension and comes around the back of the head. Swings it towards that first off shoulder, so he knows what the winning circle's all about. And he's going to be trying to make every post a winning post, Kerry, and good luck to him and the rest of his fellow competitors.
Yeah, that's right, John. Hey, just a heads up to all shearers, just be mindful to keep your handpieces and any dirty gear off the seats, please. Need to be mindful of people that come along and sit on them after you've finished. So, just heads up to those shearers. Keep your gear off the seats, please. Radio, ladies and gentlemen, we are Trust House Limited Shearing, Intermediate Shearing. Heat number 4 we are on. And sheep number 1 on the board for these shearers. Down and out the flank they go. Nothing really separating the field in at the moment. Joseph Gordon, first one in to the pen for his second sheep, sorry. Crikey, Dick, what am I saying? Sheep number 2 on the board for him. In goes the young Torpia Barracliff. Sheep number 2 on the board for him. Brody Horrell won the junior section here last year. gone up a grade into the intermediate. I think he's from down in Gore too. Great to see these guys travelling around. Down the first leg goes Corey Barracliff. Undermine time for him. Takes the top knot and he'll step up, break the neck will open. Sheep 2 on the board for all 6 competitors. Kevin Sutherland, he said, easy, sweetie, easy, you just hold the phone. I'll just take the belly off. There we go. Into the first leg he goes, well kept under control. Down the first leg he goes, undermine time for him. Corey Barracliff, up and round the shoulders he goes. Takes the trimming on the back side of the leg and down and into the long blow he goes. Jean Michelle, up and round the shoulders he goes. The man from Canada. Once again, it's great to see these international shearers, John. Golden Shears 2020. You just can't say no, can you?
Well, this is one that he'll tick the box on, and sure as heck is Jean-Michel Paulpick, and he comes up the long blow now, making every post a winning post he hopes, but it's all about getting through to round 2. Couple of experienced competition shearers, the young Barracliff lads from up in the King Country, rolling out the last leg pretty much blow for blow. 5 and 6 are doing the same thing with Joseph Gordon and Brodie Hurrell. Oh, it's pretty tight here as they go in for sheep number 3. Corey Barracliff leading the way. Brodie Hurrell next in, followed by Torpia Barracliff, and goes Joseph Gordon. Hey, the Gordon family are well represented here in Masterton. Been into the pressing arena, been in the wool handling arena, been on the microphone arena. By crikey, doing a powerful lot of work here in the Wairarapa.
Thanks very much there, John. We might get in there just for a wee second because plenty of action happening down here as another school rolls in. I am so pressed every year I come up Masterton how these this local township supports us, a tremendous event. So we've got Ricky Stevens here on press 2. He has been in the final of this individual men's the last 2 years. Okay, been the bridesmaid both times. He is lining up the big win this year, hopefully. But he has been the triathlon winner. He is a multi-talented man. He's an open shearer. He's an open wool handler too, Monica, this man. Of course, he's pretty sharp. And the years competing here is 5. Ambitions and goals, ladies and gentlemen. I mentioned earlier in number 1 heat, take out the Goodgers. The Goodger name, as you'll see, Monica over here, you've said, how long's this been going? Well, if you look at that board over there, the key is the amount of years it's been going, but the key is the amount of names of the Goodger name out there. So look at this big, strong Linton Palmer. He's giving it some stick, Monica.
Yeah, he's really working hard to get that bale down. She's going to be heavy. Oh, now he's got to keep everything safe. The judge is watching closely to make sure that he's safe and that everything is okay. But Ricky down there, he's got his pins in. He's nearly ready to clip that bale up. Thank you, Gerald.
Yeah, you've got to get those pins in. You've got to lock it down. When he takes that cap off, it's going to release hopefully 160 kgs of dynamite. Boof, and it's going to want out of there big time, look like a steam train. We're going to open a valve up. There we go. We're opening the valve now. Something's got to hold her in there. That's those pins. Ricky's doing a super job here. He's nice and close and clean. Look at that. Linton Palmer, he's got a bounce in his step. He says, holy smoke, you're going about the points on weighing, you're on points on cleaning, you're going about points for safety and technique. What about the time, Spaney? I'm with you there too. You've got to have a quick time. You've got to be on your toes. Talking about toes, John O'Hicks will be arriving soon and he'll be tap-toeing around the place here, flat stick. Oh, Monica, look at this. Look at that tidy bale there by Ricky. Isn't that sensational? That's going to be easy to pin up. You would have helped out the press at the odd time in the wool shed. If you don't get that right, it goes a wee bit bad, doesn't it, from there?
Yeah, it sure does. And it can just be a real hassle when you don't get the bits right.
Yeah, it can. Of course, if you lose too much there, what happens to those little top caps? They are short, aren't they? They're a bit short. You can't hook them together. and you've got to start, putting clip on top of clip on top of clip,
And
just to
that
try
is-
to get the bale locked up.
And that is not ideal for when the bale gets into the wool store. That's really, really annoying for the people in there. It's so hard for them to get it apart. But Ricky's doing a beautiful job over there. Linton's here. He's just starting to put his pins in. His bale, it's going to be a good one. Linton's a shearing contractor in Dipton, I think. So he knows what is required for the pressing of the bales.
Yeah, well, he's banging those pins down. We'll go back to the shearing. They're under the finishing. In fact, a couple have finished. Corey Borracliff, he says, been there, done that. And the international flavour on the next one, John. I'll let you bring those last little bits home, John and Kerry.
They're doing a bit of a marvellous job over here. Young Joseph Gordon, he's had the sheep from hell on this one, and it's given him jip right from the time he pulled it out of the pen, but he's kept his cool, and he's trying to keep his score down. Just keep an eye on that score. That was a very difficult sheep to shear, and it's still got 2 or 3 blows in it. But he's just made a marvellous job, and congratulations. He lost a little bit in time, but he kept his cool, and he hits the button. That was well shorn from the Masterton, man. By golly, I felt for him all the way through that sheep. It wouldn't behave. Here comes our Scotsman. Over the last he goes, Kevin Sutherland. Good shear from there. That's heat number 4 out of the road. Where's heat 5?
Heat 5 to be held on board, please. James Boyd, Lizzie Thompson, Ella Jevons, Cullen Pritchard, Marty Monday, Liam Pritchard. And if heat 6 could please be ready, and then assemble down to the left of the announcer's desk. Tom Darcy, Coden Gray Harmon, Matthew Hunt, Stuart Walton, Kushla Abraham, and Matthew Smith. Thank you.
Thanks, Snooky. Well, we'll come down here till we get the green light. Linton is starting to build up a sweat here now. Monica, aren't these men? Aren't they so tidy? Are they this tidy in their house, do you reckon? Or is this just a show for the old 60th year at the Golden Shears?
I'm sure that they're this tidy in the house. We've got Ricky's wife over there, and I'm sure she could say he keeps the floor all clean like that. Ricky's finished up here. We're just going to weigh his bale, and Linton's not far away. He's putting those clips in. You can see he's got this little tool to help him keep things safe. He's been working very hard. Sometimes in the wool shed, we like to cheat when we're pressing and not put all the pins in and stuff like that, but not today. We've got to have everything right if we're going to win.
Yeah, that's right, Monica. You mentioned that little tool. When these first come out, these packs, I know a lot of those tools weren't round, and it was the old bale hook, wasn't it? And talking about health and safety, and you may have seen it, and I have seen it, where they'd have the bale hook and they would use that because it's just, what's around here to clip up? Grab the bale hook. They grab the bale hook and they're in a rush and they flick it and they're pulling with the other arm and it slips and into the forearm it can go. And it's happened a few times. That's why this is essential that you have this and you don't take any shortcuts, whether you've been in a rush or otherwise. That way if it does slip, and we saw it earlier, and that's okay. It's no bother, and you'll even notice that it's turned the other way. Okay, John?
Thank you, Gerald. Everybody on the board. Timekeepers right. Judges, competitors, go. Into the pan now, heat 5. Working away. We've got 8 of these to get through, so we'll just keep trucking along. From Ireland on the front stand, James Boylan. Lizzie Thompson from England on number 2. Ellen Evans from Wales on number 3 on 4. We'll give Cullen Pritchard from Pongaroa. Martini Monday from Wairarapa on stand number 5, and Liam Pritchard from Pongaroa down on the 6th stand. Keen as mustard, these young people. Once again, we have overseas visitors 1, 2 and 3. The locals who say we don't want our trophies to go overseas. We need to get up there and defend. And defend they will with all their might. Their finesse and their speed. So let's see how they pan out. Good score from young Joseph Gordon, the local man in that last heat after that difficult sheep in shearing at number 5. And he was the top qualifier out of that heat. Hey, what a great shear from him. And it just goes to show you, don't get stroppy with the sheep. Keep relaxed, cool, calm and collected, and just get the job done. Because here we go, burning on to the last side now. One or two of these overseas visitors are going to be in with a bit of a chance, Kerry. They're actually shearing very well. They've come to New Zealand to hone their skills, and here we are at the big one, the Golden Shears, and this is maybe their time.
Well, that's right, John, but the facts are that all of these competitors have to earn the right to go through to the next round. There's nothing given in this show, ladies and gentlemen. The fields are so big. Any slight niggle of a sheep we've seen in the last heat, just a little difficult sheep, a little bit of a squirm, bit of a wriggle, 1 or 2 second cuts too many, and it's just going to put these shearers out. So they have to be mindful to be on their job, and it is all about the top 2 inches in this show. And it's all about the mental preparation. It's all about the gear preparation, and the facts are, do the hard work and the results will come. Down and out the flank they go. James Bryan from Ireland, ladies and gentlemen. Lizzie Thompson. Down and out the flank she goes. Young lass from England. Sheep number 2 on the board for most of these competitors. Up and round the shoulder goes stands 3 and 4. Right there with each other. Oh, a bit of a niggle on stand 1, and well kept under control. Big, strong sheep they are, ladies and gentlemen, in this Trust House Intermediate Shearing qualifying heat. Number 5, we are on. Lizzie Thompson, out to the hole she goes. Very, very well shorn, that too. Very well shorn, actually. Out onto the board. Sheep number 2 on the board for her. 4 competition sheep in the pen for these competitors. Liam Pritchard down there on 6, into the pen for his sheep number 3 on the board for him. Martini Monday, down and into the long blow he goes. Shearing along well as well, the young fella down there on 5. Down and out the flank, Callum Pritchard. Right out to the tips of the toes he goes. He'll be looking for his 3rd sheep. Into the pen he'll go. The Welshman there on 3. Under the final shoulders, down and out the flank he goes. Lizzie Thompson, off comes the belly for her. Down the first leg, undermine time for her. Takes the top knot. Bit of a difficult sheep there too that she's got. He's just giving her a little bit of jandle. Just being a little bit nervous. Down and into the long blow goes James Bryan, the man from Ireland. Works his way around the long blow once again. Just a little bit of a niggle, just not quite settled, these sheep, are they, John? They take a lot of holding on to these sheep. They giving these intermediate shearers a bit of a challenge, aren't they?
Well, they're a good workout, all right. The sheep from Butte Farm, as with all the sheep in the Wairarapa that normally come to the shears, they are magnificent beasts. They are wild animals, not sedated in any way. And I was just thinking a little while ago, the number of females that have joined our fraternity in the shearing game, that's as a shearer as well as wool handlers. How many moons ago it was when they would be expected to be sitting at home with a bit of needlework and sewing on a couple of buttons and maybe cooking the odd feed here and there. And here they are out in the what we used to call Le Mans world, or dominated by men anyway, at least, and they're in the shearing game, and they are jolly good. There's no doubt about it. The finesse and the class they show, they have learnt the skill, as you can see with the Lizzie Thompson, the English lass, coming down that last side now. She just readjusted her sheep to get that last leg off. Did it without a blink. It was just part of the game. The sheep started to wriggle, so she shot the head forward, but in front of her knees instead of behind the knees. And now she's thought that, well, my gear's playing up a little bit, so the sheep's a little bit jittery, so I'll put a fresh cutter on. So they're thinking about the game, and they're really adding a little bit of class to some of these shearing competitions around the country and around the world. So I take my hat off to them. They've come a long way from small beginnings. When I first started shearing, there was not many of our female gender in the game as far as shearers go. There are heaps now, which is good. The shearing industry needs people to keep coming up forward and being tough and fronting up to work every day, because it's a hard game, but by heck you can have a lot of fun around the world if you're deemed to want to do a bit of travelling. Here we go. We've travelled to Masterton from all over the country, from all over the world, and the 2021, the 60th, she's a biggie. And these fellas want to make every post a winning post now. Sheep number 4 out there for Martini Monday down on the 5 stand. He's just leading the field. He's got a little bit of a break. He's just a little bit behind Callum Pritchard there as he turns for home. He's almost 2/3 through the 4th sheep as he comes under the shoulder, down and out to the flank. Working across the shoulder on the last side. Evans, the Welshman, on 4. Into the off shoulder now, down to the long blow. Boyan happy here on the front stand. He comes across the shoulder on the last side. Still got one in the pen according to the tally. There goes Liam Pritchard finishing touches there. He has a quick look at his score. That is not bad. He's got a 22.3 in time. He's only got a 0.8 on the board. That's an average of not even 1 second cut per sheep. That is a marvellous shear. And some of his sheep have been judged outside. So he's got a 3.3. A very low score there at the moment. As I said before, we need to be hovering around about the 30-ish, early 30s to get through to the next round. And these young people are trying their best at the moment.
Thanks very much, John. We'll just get this heat started if you don't mind. So we're still on the men's singles, okay? Great entries as it's been all the time. Farmland sponsored and Woolpacks New Zealand event. Okay, we've got 2 brothers up here. We've got Cameron Hicks on press 1. And we've got Jono Hicks on press 2. In that case, presses are ready. Judges ready. On your marks, get set, go. We're underway.
Gerald, just as a question, how heavy was Linton Palmer's bail? I saw him working feverishly down there.
Yeah, he done very well actually, John. That last heat was Ricky Stevens, and we're looking for the 160. And Ricky pumped out a 168.5. Okay, so a little bit much porridge there this morning. And the one you're asking about, Linton Palmer, and he done a 157.5. So very, very close.
Well,
of course,
I was just watching him pull you down, and maybe the box wasn't quite lined up because he was making severe work of it. And I thought it would maybe a little bit too much wool in the bag, but no, maybe something was not quite sitting right on the press.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. Very hard to judge, actually, even, as I said, for the helicopter view when you're stepping back here of whether you think it's too heavy or light. So it's keeping all the presses honest here, Monica, I can tell you that. As they're doing a bit of knitting. They do housekeeping, but they do knitting as well. Look at them go.
Yeah, then they're going for it, these 2 brothers. It's always a big deal when you're competing next to your sibling to... You really have a good go at it. So we've got Cameron, first one up into the box with the tramping down the wool. Jono's not going to be far behind him. He's out, and he's going to get probably 1 more arm load, and then he's going to be happy with that, I'd say.
Look at this, though, Monica. Look at how they knit. Have you done crochet in your life? Look at that. Knitting it all together, that little bit of wool, and ooh,
big arms.
Big arms. 1 step into the box. You see that? Just whoops.
Yeah, he's much taller than his brother, so he's got a little bit of an advantage there. He's giving a good tramp down.
He's going well, the big strong legs of that man. He's an open shearer at the same time. Based down in Balclutha at the moment. He's shearing down there. And spends a lot of time in Aussie living over there as well. Jono.
I'll just come in. Okay, heat number 6, Matthew Smith, Quishla Abraham, Stu Walton, Matthew Hunt, Coney Gray Harmon, and Tom Darcy, please. Heat number 7, can they please be ready? Daniel Biggs, Carmen Smith, Alex Butler, Atapai Hatfield, Neville Jacka, Peggy to Hongaroa. For those 6 shearers, please be ready for the next heat. Over to you, Drew.
Yeah, thanks, Noogie. And John O'Hicks, he's a school teacher actually, but he always turns up to the Golden Shears. He is a competitor. He gives it everything he's got. He teaches out at Levin. Okay, he is one.
Hi, welcome back up into the green room. Look, we're right in the middle of the intermediate shearing heats, sponsored by Trust House, a long-time supporter of the Golden Shears. And down in the stadium at the moment, we've also got the wool pressing, the farmlands wool pressing going on. And so, there's a lot of activity going on here at the moment. But I've got a guest that I thought might be helpful for us all to know. I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Mavis. I'm Bronwyn Campbell from Tahi na Tahi, the Industry Good Injury Prevention Program online, all about in the wool shed and keeping yourself and your colleagues safe. That's the gist of it, really. We're here at the Golden Shears, so come and see us out in the foyer and have a wee look at the website and sign up if you haven't already.
So what's your website address so people may be interested?
It is www.tahingatah.co.nz, and then you can have a wee look through some information there about how bad or how good your region might be in the injury stats. It's usually backs and cuts that are the highest injury there.
Yeah, of course. And if we are in a very physical industry where accidents can and do happen, so personal safety and safety of the whole team is a big deal. Hey, Bronwyn, you've got some great resources here. Just want to encourage people, get online, have a look, understand what the resources are and how they can help. And of course, Tahi Ngā Tahi have sponsored the shirts for all the commentary team, so everyone's out there looking very smart. Thank you very much to you and the team.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And if you're in the stadium, go and check it out. If you're not in the stadium, online, wherever you are throughout the world, check out these New Zealand resources because they are generic for a number of industries, but although specific for the primary sector, but there for everyone. So thank you very much, Bronwyn, and let's head back to the stadium we're up to, I think, heat 6 of the intermediates. I think we're about halfway through there, so it's going well.
Good fun.
Thank you.
We've got 8 of these heats to go, so still a little bit of work to do. Make sure the next heat's ready to roll as they rocking up over the top now. A little bit of pace there from our Masterton man on 2, Conan Gray-Harmon is up the long blow. He's starting to put a bit of a gap on the field. Matthew Hunt from Waikaka says, mate, I'm long, lean and hungry and I want to chase you every inch of the way. And he turns onto the last side. Pretty much blow for blow. Stu Wilton from Masterton on the 4. Around the back of the head. Look at the powerful shoulders on that man. Swooping down into the off shoulder now. On it. Dropping it into that long blow, turns away from the crowd, but the judges are still watching and taking off any second cuts that they see of cutting the wool fibre twice. Here comes Krishla Abraham over the money side of the sheep. Likewise is Matthew Smith from up there in the Tikawiti country, Otrahonga, coming across the shoulder. He just loves shearing competitions, this fella. He just works hard, whatever he does. So there's the qualifiers up there at the moment. You just see, look along the score points. Don't count Mr. Ford up the top there because he didn't actually shear Mr. Ford Thompson or Miss Ford Thompson. So you just take the second one down. We're looking for 18 at the moment. As we come down the last side on stand number 4. Doing very well. The local man, Stu Wilton, good quality, just needs to pick the pace up a little bit because the pace here on stand number 3 going pretty well the South Island of Waikaka, right?
Yeah, it's a heat number 6, ladies and gentlemen, Trust House Limited Intermediate Shearing. We are in Darcy Tong. Out goes sheep number 1, into the penny 2. Probably didn't have the best run on that first sheep. Just didn't really kick, but it didn't really let him flow either. But down into the long row goes the boy from Masterton. Up and around the shoulders and into the long blow. Takes the cheek wall. Down and over the brisket he goes. Matthew Hunt. Down there on stand 3. Under that final shoulder and down and out the flank he goes. These boys on 2 and 3 going blow for blow. Out to the tips of the toes. Both of these young shearers are looking for a place in that top 18. Down and out the flank goes Conan. Beautiful shearing sheep too, ladies and gentlemen. They are great Wairarapa sheep they are. Down and out the flank. Finishing touches for him. Matthew Hunt into the pen for his third sheep. Stu Wilson. Stu Wilton, sorry, not Stu Wilson. He was a rugby player. Up and round the shoulders he goes. Down and into the long blow. Kushla Abraham. Around the long blow she goes. She'll take the cheek well and down and over the brisket she goes. Matthew Smith right down there on stand number 6. He's not out of the mix either. Sheep number 2 on the board for him. Down and over the brisket he goes, but it's still the boys on 2 and 3. Sheep number 3 on the board for them. Up the neck he goes. Breaks the neck wall open. Takes the cheek wall and works his way around the shoulder. Darcy Tong. Down and out the flank he goes, the tie happy boy. Sheep 2 on the board for him. Just pops that head forward. Once again, that sheep's just being a little bit difficult, a little bit awkward, a bit of a squirm, bit of a niggle. Can just really upset these shearers. In a normal shed situation, they wouldn't get too worried about it. But these guys, they have to be mindful to keep their quality job under control. Because these judges, they will judge the sheep on the board. They will judge the sheep at the back. Any little blemish that these shearers make, these judges will deduct points off them. Down and over the brisket, these shearers on 2 and 3 go. Right there with each other, John. These two boys, they're going hell for leather on 2 and 3. Stu Wilton, sheep 3 on the board for him. Kushla Abraham, sheep number 3 on the board for her. Matthew Smith, sheep 3 on the board for him. Down the first leg he goes, undermine time. But it's going to be the boy, Matthew Hunt, with sheep number 4, 4th and final sheep on the board for him.
Very good. Thanks very much, Kerry. We've just come down to the pressing arena for a little second or two. The field of action starting to happen between these two brothers. You'll notice, or you may or may not have noticed, but I'd like to bring your attention to it. This is the lowest the pack has sat on the top box. Okay, when that was round the other side, the cat was sitting nice and low, which means Jono made a wise, educated decision to say he's not going to put as much wool on that top box. And why would he do that? Of course, he's got to wind that baby up and swing it round. So he's trying to stuff more in the bottom box by using those powerful legs of his. And then he's got to pull it from there. His brother Cam says it's time for some H2O. Monica, hydrogen and oxygen. Now that is as much power as you'll ever find because he's got this last hard little bit to do. How many clicks do you think he'll be down to? You would have pressed a few bales in your day when you're helping out. Do you think you do 3 clicks at a time or 1?
Well, he's about down to 3 at a time right now, but he's having trouble. He must have really tramped that wool in there. His big arm loads and his big strong legs tramped it right down. And he's had a bit of something's going on over here. I'm just going to stand back. His brother, he's coming right up behind him. He's about to start his crank down as well. He's just making sure everything's all sorted out over there. But Cameron, he's on to the 2 clicks. And he's working hard to get it down. Oh, she's going to be a heavy bale.
That's going to be a tight bale, you're right. It's not unlikely in a wool shed for people in the audience where a wool handler comes along and joins in and we get a bit of a team effort to whip that down. You've got the presser on the end here and the wool handler in nice and close to get that baby. That's going to be a tight bale. But it was going to take more than a team of wild horses to stop him. He just kept on smoking it, didn't he? Holy smoke. He said, I've got a few watching me. I can't renege now. And here we go. Monica, we're over here now. We just stay with the pressing for a wee minute. We've got John O'Hicks, and he's down to a couple of clicks early in the piece.
Oh, they've both worked really hard. Like I said, when you're up against your sibling, I've competed next to my sister before, and it always makes things a bit more, a bit more pressure on you. You've got something a bit more to prove, I suppose.
Yeah, well, he won't be going to the gym tonight to do some high-intensity training, I can tell you that. No weights tonight and mirrors in front of him. It's people. Look at this. He is going to have to work really hard to get this down.
And I really just want to jump on the end and help him, because that's what we do.
That's the shearing and wool handling family, isn't it? People probably don't realise, and presses, it is actually a team and a big family, New Zealand-wide and worldwide. But in the shed, you are a shearing team, shearing wool handling team, where you help each other out. And normally you would dive in here right now in between doing a bit of wool handling and give Jono a hand and say, here, mate, well, let's get this down. We've got a fair bit to get through today. And we've got to do a cutout, okay? That means everyone's going to work really hard. The boss says, don't come home until that shed's finished. Okay, we've got a new shed to go to tomorrow. Don't come home. There's 3 shearers. We've got 1,200 lambs to do. All right, 400 each. That's a team effort by everyone. So we can knock off roughly around knock-off time and get back to base. So what's John going to do here? He's going to take a breather. He says, holy smoke, this is a wee gap in between the weights, the high-intensity training. He's going to say, I'll give her a wee tidy up while I catch my breath.
Yeah, nice work.
And he says, that's not long enough. No, he's happy. He's going to stick with it. The challenge now will be getting those pins in. Cam says, what's going on over there? The old commentator's doing a whole lot of yarns. There must be something happening as he's battling to get the pins through. The shearers are doing their finishing touches right here. Stu Wilton, he says, well, that's me done. I hope it's enough. Kushla Abraham's up there from Masterton. We'll see her over here later on in the ladies pressing. She likes doing that. I'm very sure she's been a winner actually 2 or 3 years ago, if my memory serves me well. This is the problem here. We've got to get that top box off, and we've got to clear that now.
Heat number 7, Piggy, so Ngararoa, Neville, Jackart, Artipai, Hackfield, Alex Butler, Carmen Smith, Daniel Pitt. And heat number 8, the final heat after this one will be Josh Hochberg, Keith Swan, Clayton Reed, Tanya Paul, Vicky Gutler, and Ford Thompson.
Thanks, Nikki. Andy Owen, could you come to the pressing arena, please? Andy Owen, that would be very good. So this is the tidy up now, Monica. So you were saying good work just to yourself with your mic to the side. So you're thinking good work, John 04.
Just the way that he's released the top box a bit, and he's gently pushed it around and brung it back down so it's not all winding out everywhere. I don't really know how to put that into words.
That was clear enough for me. The other challenge he's going to have, see how that cap's now poking up, which means that pin is going to be higher on the far side than here, which is then he's going to run out of the flap, isn't he, to be able to join them. We mentioned earlier about sometimes in desperation you'll put a clip on a clip to make like a monkey chain to be able to reach. See, he's going to be pretty tight. But Jono's pretty inventive. He'll improvise because that's what he does. He hasn't made finals and been a winner here in the peers without being a wee bit clever at the same time.
But over here, his brother's just about finished. He's pulling those pins out. He's got his bail clipped up. Oh, he's just pulling it apart.
Shows you the weight. Look at the old, the press is moving as we're trying to get those pins out. Cam Hicks. Wow.
Cam Hicks, good to see you here, mate. Thanks for coming.
We're good to go up here in the front. Timekeepers are good. Judges, competitors, go. We're in the door here on heat number 7. And we have Daniel Biggs up on the front from Mangamahu, Carmen Smith from Waipakarau on the 2.